stage, so just enjoy the music.
Hit the road, Jack. Won't come back, no. You can say.
Not sure. What context? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm not progressive.
This was on me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Gotta hit you to my left, down to my right. We're going down. Little while I got these ties. Those who survive know the one more time. Forth and back, just like that. What comes around goes around, my man. Say hey, hey, say hey.
I'm sorry.
Forth and back, and just like that, you're going down for heaven's gate.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just waiting to be let in.
We're going down. You had a stop sign tattooed under your arm. That didn't stop me from getting you to the bar. It was a hard day, and so was I. So stop right there. You're coming with me tonight. It's so nice to meet you. How about you and me go somewhere we can be? It's just you and me. Nice to meet you. Think it's somewhere we go under the sheets. Be the beauty. I'll be the beast. Huh. Your eyes are heart-shaped, diamond
Hey,
ready to smooth.
all right, my screen's messed up. I'm gonna drop out and come back in.
Tennessee, there's no sea, but we found a pool. Splash. It was a hot night, and damn, so were you. Like renegades, we fell in love under the moon. I love you too. It's so nice to meet you. How about you and me go somewhere we can be? It's just you and me. Nice to meet you. Think it's somewhere the things you do in your room when you're all alone. 3, 4, you want mom or whatever cure that was. 5, 6, finding bliss when you're drunk or you're doing drugs. When you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk or you're doing drugs. 7, 8, feeling brave, but you never really play this game. 9, 10, feels like heaven, you're crying cause you wanna stay. Quick fix, finding bliss when you feel the heartbeat inside. When you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic? When you're drunk, 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 when you're drunk. Me too, I'm just like you, and I need to fuck it up sometime. I'm stuck with ego trips, selling sex to a lovable bar. Sometimes I feel magic, but I manage to fuck up somehow. Getting drunk, getting drunk, getting drunk, getting drunk, and I'm getting high. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic? One, 2, the things you do in your room when you're all alone. In your room when you're all alone. 3, 4, you want mom or whatever cure that was. Or whatever cure that was.
I'm backstage, Prime.
5, 6, finding bliss when you're drunk or you're doing drugs. When you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk or you're doing drugs. Do you believe in magic? Me too. I'm just
What did I
like
miss?
you, and I need to
Oh, you
fuck
mean
it
the
up
Epstein?
The
Oh, I just
Epstein
want to tell you guys,
shit?
I'm stuck
I've got
with
the
ego
files
trips,
right here on my
selling
desk.
sex to a lovable
Now you
bar.
can't see them
Sometimes
because they might be invisible, but I have
Who's
been
there behind you?
reasonably informed that these files are the Epstein case files insofar in that they don't exist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said it's funny that we're talking about it. Well, you brought it up, Lactor.
I did bring it up, yeah.
But in any case,
I kind of
I hope-
assumed
I hope
that
you
would
wouldn't
get
bring that
brought
up,
up
but,
as
yeah.
part of the discussion anyways, which is why I didn't really bring it up.
Epstein, I don't know. I mean, I think now can we say that Trump is an absolute liar, right? Like, that he is
This was a lie.
dishonest individual.
What now? We got to wait till now.
Well, hold on. I've been
This was
saying
pretty
it for
egregious.
years. I'm trying to get like my Republican friends on board. Hey, how honest are you? Right? Will you say that Trump promised specifically on the campaign trail to reveal these files? Right?
Well, hold on. We got to wait and see what the Tate brothers' opinions are on this before we can give a public
the Tates.
statement
So
whether
this
or
is-
not- whether or not Trump is a liar.
This is a lie, and it's not just like a technical sense lie that I think a lot of people jump on Trump for, which is like, oh, this small little thing, it's technically not accurate, but nobody gives a fuck. I think this was a long-winded, methodical dishonesty on a fundamental level, which sucks. It just sucks.
I have
There's
a
nothing.
question. I have a question.
You, Lactoid.
So if we assume that the FBI and CIA or whomever is involved is corrupt,
He's going to drain the
with
swamp.
or without Trump, right? Trump is the swamp. He always has been. He got to start
Absolutely.
in New York City,
All that
real
with
estate, and
followers.
Atlantic City, places that have never been associated with the mob in the 1980s. Anyways,
Can you guys hear me?
Well, the mob says they couldn't get it to be
over
banned.
there.
Remember, the mob said they couldn't get it.
Mic check, mic check.
You
mic
can
check.
trust the
of
mob
course,
to
yeah.
tell the truth.
Looks
you
like
can
we're good.
trust the mom to tell. Yeah, but anyways, my question is knowing what we know now, right? Which was they were never going to release any fucking files, and that the entire thing was a scam and a lie. We don't know to what degree every party was involved, right? Like, we
Guys,
don't know
I
how
really want to
involved
appreciate
Kash
everybody
Patel
coming
was
out.
in
Go tell your
covering it
friends.
up,
It's
or
going to be a
Dan
wild
Bongino,
ass
Pam
debate
Bondi,
tonight,
Trump,
as you
et
can
cetera, et
see
cetera.
already.
But
I
my
don't know how
question
much I'm
is,
going to get into
when
the
they
pre-show
grabbed a
stuff. I
bunch of
normally,
conservative
ignore it.
influencers and gave
I
them
really
like
want to thank
fake
Tuck from
bullshit
Tennessee for the
binders and
$5.
told them
Binders.
not to
Every
look into
dollar
it,
that he has
and
is
then
precious to him.
didn't give them
him, this
any time
throw
to look
$5
at
to
it.
me is
And then we're just like,
awesome.
hey,
Thank you very
go
much,
through
Chuck.
these
I really,
doors,
really appreciate
which
it.
where they had to walk across the
And I
White House to
saw,
go out of a
I think it's like a
different set of
road
doors that they'd
garden
normally.
door or
Grid
Yeah,
on
they
the
had to go through a
start driving
and
with
then
the
got marched
listening
and then got
before the
ambushed by
police was, and I
paparazzi
just
so that
wanted
they
to
would
say
be
hi.
there
Good on
having
you,
photos
Nate.
of the
Really
binders.
appreciate the $5.
What level of conspiracy mind are we at where they were
And
like,
we
since
are,
we're not going to do this, we're also going to
Andrew's
completely
first,
fuck a bunch of
they're doing
conservative
a thing over on
influencers
Sarah's
because
tonight.
now every time that
So,
Trump or MAGA or anything gets
it's,
brought up,
this
everyone on
is a
Twitter is
live
going to be like,
channel.
this you? And it's a
This is
picture
on
of you like, oh, the binder. Like,
is over
it feels intentional. I don't know.
It feels like to me,
Prime
and
Ties
and this I'm
channel. Now
pulling
he's
this
mostly a Twitch
way out of my
streamer,
ass,
but
right?
I'm
he's
pulling
like-
this question out of my
he's
ass. I'm
doing
just
a-
curious. Like, it
Yeah,
seems
so, like,
weird.
He does
you know?
these channels,
it seems to
and
me
he
that like
really is
what because that's a good
he's
question.
like
Like you actually asked me a good question here, right?
but,
Like if it's going to be
normally we have a lot
if
more
you're not going to do it
trouble
in the
with
first place,
the-
you're not actually releasing anything. Why do the whole song and dance, right? With the conservatives at that moment, right? Like Laura Loomer.
normally I have a lot more
right?
trouble with the sound, but
so
I
it
actually
seems
have
to
a
me
setup
that
specifically for
like, I
doing
think
this
people
show.
within the White House
which
thought
seems
like,
to be
oh,
working.
like they believe Trump,
That's
right?
awesome.
Like they're part of MAGA, right? And they believe
Thank
Trump.
you very much,
Trump
Chuck,
says
for
we're
the
going to release these
gifted
files,
subs as well.
and so we're going to release these files, right? And we're going to release something, right?
Yeah, I
Even
know
if
I'm
you
not on
think they
mute
were gonna release
here.
all the files.
I'm on mute there.
I could imagine people in the White House not actually believing we're going to do that, right? But at the very least, we're going to release some information, right? And so that was the plan, and then like it
So
came
it's
down
hard
from
to
on
follow the
high,
mute because
right?
of all the
Of
different
course, we're not going to do
sound
that.
sources we
And
have.
so what
going.
they put in those
The
binders
sound
was
here
like
is being done by
information that
Discord.
had already been released, but
The
had been further
um,
redacted, right? So it's less than
the
what we had
sound for this,
previously.
you see
And it was a
everybody in
complete mess. So I
StreamYard
think that
is
happened like last minute,
muted,
right?
and that's
They're like, well,
because
we got to give
none
them
of the sound
something.
is going through
The
StreamYard. It's
conservative,
all going
they had
through
already sent the
Discord.
invites to the
It's
conservatives.
really,
Conservatives are on
really
their way.
bad.
They probably were in their
That's
hotel
such a
rooms, right? They
tonight's
got to
debate.
give them something. And so that's what
we
they
get
do.
to it
That's what
is
it feels like to me.
if Trump,
I am. I'm gonna be honest.
use,
When I came
Trump's come out
to
with
what
a
I
new
was voting
clone,
for,
and is it okay for him
the
to
Epstein
market
list was like next
his
to the bottom.
products?
I'll be honest with that. Now, whether or not I think that
Yeah.
I want to say
So,
this though, with Fabian's
unfortunately, I
question,
won't be able to
especially, and I
address
think
that
I kind of
I
mentioned this
wanted to take
before, is
minutes,
yes, Trump is
while
also
we're
like a
just kind of in the
showman.
warm-up session here.
And whenever Fabian's
talk
asking
to the
how much
chat,
is this
what's
for
up,
show,
and
you got to remember, well,
hi,
who
everybody.
is his
Go get your phone, settle down. This
cabinet
podcast
member that
is
does
gonna be
education?
lit.
Well, it's Linda McMahon,
And
right? And now I don't know if you've watched the WWE ever.
yeah, the sound,
But-
the
but-
way
When I
that
was a kid, when it was a
Right,
WWF.
I
Well,
can,
the WWE,
I
like
can
Star
mute
Wars
him
EU,
down, but
and
it's,
like now I guess Marvel,
tough, man.
they are
It's
the
tough, so,
godfathers
um,
of seeding.
but
Right? When they
yeah,
do
the
these
sound
shared
is nuts.
universes.
Anyway,
And what's
guys,
like the thing you always see in the WWE? You
Go
see
get
them
your
walk in the background with like, oh, you'll have two characters talking. So like, oh, is that him?
And
From
let's
faction? You'll have like a little poster in the background with someone will be standing under. You'll see like Karrion Kross talking to somebody. It's like always what's going on in the background. They'll have like people fighting in the background, like arguing or like whatever, and like they won't even be part of the promo. This is akin to that for me, and I can easily see them using it to like either burn somebody or do a long con. And I know you're like maybe like a lot of people don't want to give them credit for this, but I think that the Trump team has been maybe the best ever when it comes to media manipulation. Like I think that's their skill. Like that's their best.
Oh no,
skill.
I could agree.
I mean,
agree with
sure,
that.
but it was a big fuck up if they weren't going to release anything. But
I mean,
secondly,
who's to say who knew what the plan was the whole time?
right? But okay, but are you really saying that you don't like that? Like it's not high on your priority list?
I mean, maybe second to last on my priority list.
That that the wealthiest, most powerful people in the world were fucking children and may or may not have been blackmailed and bought off in terms of controlling government. Like, shouldn't that be like, I don't know, like way up there? Like,
I mean, I'll tell you this:
one of the greatest betrayals of a president in U.S. history.
Well,
like,
I'll answer that. I'll answer that.
Like, oh, this is kind of low on the list. I mean,
no, it's
who
not
cares if the wealthy elite fuck children and get blackmailed by
Listen,
potentially Israel or just client lists and corporations, whatever it is, to make sure that our government is not in any way, shape, or form free in any capacity.
The Dems, baby. You
hold
gotta
on,
own the Dems. You gotta own the left.
I'll respond to this. I'll respond to this. It's really simple. I'll tell you. Yeah,
we should be really mad about this.
We should be mad. It's bad. It's really bad. It's real terrible. But you know what people vote on generally? And this is what I voted on. I voted on the shit that's affecting me in my day-to-day life. I don't give two fucks about what's happening up in, I don't know, Washington with the elites and some little children they got from fucking
your day-to-day
another
life.
country. Yeah, I mean, it could.
No, it does.
hold on. Let me finish
So
it.
you don't care about children being
No, I
raped.
do. Oh, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
That's
care.
what you said. You said you didn't care about
Hold on. It's levels of caring. Levels of caring.
Okay.
That's bad. But I care a lot when
Fucking
something like when
heat
something's
map
no.
occurring
Yeah,
right
there's
now.
no. Really though, like y'all are gonna like make this a meme. I'm gonna get this out, right? I care a lot more when my friends that I see on a regular basis are being killed by the cartel. I care a lot more whenever my ranch is being damaged. That affects me. Yeah, that's affecting me right now. Whether this policy, hold on, whether it's the policy and this overarching shadow government's doing some shit, yeah, that's affecting our lives. It's been affecting our lives for 30 years. But this guy promised to fix something tomorrow, and the other guy told me, "Fuck you." Guess who's gonna get the vote? Oh, this evil piece of shit instead of that evil piece of shit.
Hold on.
Like I don't really see why y'all are.
I agree
like,
with you. I agree with you if we're comparing presidential candidates or like we're comparing one versus the other. I totally understand you in terms of like the lesser of two evils argument, or even like I'm a single issue voter because this is what's directly affecting me right now, and like these things are less important to me. But we're not talking about comparing Trump to Kamala Harris. We're talking about the betrayal that Trump did. And if Trump is going to betray the American people and the world and lie to your fucking face about those things, then like, doesn't that erode any level of trust that you have for him to do? Like, I mean, Trump already went back on his word like a couple weeks ago when it came to immigration.
I asked this question before the election.
The budget, but also on immigration, he was like, "Well, my fucking rich friends in agriculture called me, and all of a sudden,
and what did I
we
do?
can't
I
get rid of
bitched about that
all
real
of
hard,
the
didn't I?
illegals because we need them for the farms." And it's like, doesn't this just feel like his current immigration shit is just a fucking distraction of like, oh, we're raiding the soccer fields, we got ice in a line, we're gonna get rid of things so that people won't talk about this horrible fucking monstrous betrayal?
That's ridiculous. No, you don't start building. You don't start building giant infrastructure like what was this bullshit everybody's been crying about all week? Alligator Alcatraz. Like you don't start building infrastructure on a large scale.
Alligator Alcatraz is for the worst of the worst. And
hold on.
People.
Cool.
It's a fucking meme. That's why it's named that way.
Yeah, bro. But it's okay. Listen, it's still major infrastructure. They're still ramping up the.
It's fences and dunk beds. It's not major infrastructure.
It's major infrastructure. You got major infrastructure. We got 3,000 a day being gone. They're trying to up it to 7 just to get rid of the people that Biden released. Like, yeah, these are problems. I'm seeing results right now in my area. We have the border secured for the first time in my lifetime. We have it secured. The incoming from our areas, problem solved. I haven't heard anybody's ranches getting damaged lately. I've heard way less people getting killed by cartels lately. I mean, the shootings are down in like all these major cities. I think New York had the first 4th of July, which isn't even Texas, but New York had the first 4th of July where no one was killed or shot on 4th of July. Like we are seeing real-time results change.
People did get shot.
Sure.
It happens every time, everywhere around the country.
Well, it was way lower this year. And part of that is because the cartels are not as being able to do as much along the border.
There's no evidence to say that cartels regularly are the ones who shoot on 4th of July.
Sure,
like,
but they are. Yeah. What do you mean? Hold on. Are you telling me you don't think gang violence happens on 4th of July? Are you retarded? Listen,
no,
it's that
I'm
simple.
saying, that's not going to work.
It's that simple. It is going to work. The cartels directly control.
What did I just say, right? I said, is there a pattern?
Oh, yeah. There is a pattern.
If there's cartels specifically doing gang violence on the 4th of July, being responsible for mass shootings,
absolutely is.
No, there isn't. Show me evidence. I'm waiting for you to not show me that evidence.
I will show you the evidence. You just look up
quality
one day. There's the most shootings occur in the United States, and we usually one of the highest days, 4th of July. Why? Because gang violence. Who runs the gangs? The cartels. That's simple. It's that simple.
That's what I'm asking.
There are no American gangs. The gangs
there are American gangs, but they're directly related with competition with each other.
Right?
It's both.
In the country, awash with guns.
Absolutely, it's absolutely. I mean, listen, you can move the goalposts all you want. It's a direct correlation. It's a direct correlation.
I feel like that's a fair argument.
It's a direct correlation.
I'm yelling at Admiral Gibbs, right? Because I feel like he's not putting the appropriate amount of outrage that we should be against Trump when it comes to these Epstein situation. But I feel like it's a fairly fair argument, right? Or just a fair argument, right? To say that the cartels have a large influence on gang violence in America. Obviously.
I'm not arguing, hon. I'm not arguing.
And that his argument, And that his argument is that Trump's crackdown has had, the result of lowered gang violence,
Hold on.
and his evidence of that is 4th of July, which is a stereotypically
But-
high date
But
of
that
gang
gang
violence-
shootings,
hold on,
has
but-
gone down
Hold
significantly.
on,
Like
hold
I
on,
disagree.
Nationwide.
Scott. How is that a fair argument? Like you walked me up.
I just
right?
laid
Fair
it out.
argument.
Yeah.
It's just
I,
not correct.
I know, and I'm going to counter that. So hold on, right? So
Yeah.
you walked me up a bunch of reasonable assertions, right? Like, hey, if you are actually, well, you have to even prove that he's done a good job degrading the abilities of the cartel. I don't necessarily from that, but I'll
Neither do I. But I'm saying for the sake of the argument, I don't think his argument is like
for the
a
sake of
goalpost
the
shift or a
argument,
lie.
I will
or
allow
anything.
it for now, right? So you say like, hey, gang violence significantly contributes to crime. Okay, right? Trump, at least in Gibbs' mind, has lowered the power of the cartels. Okay, right? If that's the case, well then what follows next is that, well, yeah, for sure, violence then in the country should overall go down. If that's the case, right? Sure. But that doesn't necessarily follow that on one specific day, right? That the violence that we see going back years, right? On 4th of July, not just 4th of July, and other like weekdays, holidays, right? Especially the ones during the summer. The violence that we see, right? The mass shootings that we see specifically correlated to the cartels. You
Welcome to
understand the
everyone who
logical
just came
jump?
in. What we're doing right
It's
now
not a
is this is
logical
our
jump.
pre.
It's just like
This is
evidence
our
isn't proof,
pre-debate
right? So
debate
you can attack
bullshit.
the evidence and say
None
that
of
the
that.
evidence.
I'm trying to get a
Hold on,
word
but
in edgewise
you can
here,
say the
but
evidence isn't
they're not
sufficient. But when you're
acknowledging me.
talking about gang violence,
But
it's
welcome
inexorably
everyone that
linked
came
to
in.
cartel violence. Like the two are inexorably linked.
But that's not what I'm.
Right, and so I'm just saying
criticizing,
it's a reasonable argument, and it
but
sounded like you
no.
were like
But
saying
but
it wasn't.
my friend, you just ignored the
You
part.
attack the
That-
evidence. I'm
What
with
is?
you.
Oh my God, no, Scott, listen. You're not listening to me, right, Scott? That's not what I'm pushing back against. I specifically laid out what I was pushing back against. Tell me, Scott, what was I pushing back against specifically?
Specifically now, or when you were arguing
No,
with him, because there was
this
a lot of
entire
back and
time.
forth.
Literally this entire time. This has been the one thing I pushed back against Gibbs. What's the thing? I just laid it out for you. What is it that I have a problem
Right.
with?
You seem to have a problem with the evidence itself being insufficient, which is what I just stated.
No,
the
no,
problem
no.
is
about
that
what?
it's
What is the
one
aspect?
day
No,
as
my
opposed
God.
to it. Okay,
Yeah.
well then you tell me then. Like,
Oh, okay. I'll tell.
if you're
say it
gonna
for the-
immediately jump
I'll
at
say
me,
it-
like,
I'll
tell
say
me then.
because you're not because you're jumping in and saying, well, this is logical when you're not actually addressing the thing that I'm talking about. Great. So for the third time at least.
Where does the logical leap though? You haven't.
Oh my God!
demonstrated that.
I literally just laid it out for you. You weren't listening, but I'll do it again. Right?
I
For
was
the
listening.
third- Oh my! Then shut up and listen again. Then because you weren't. You
Okay.
clearly didn't catch
What
it
is
before,
the
and I'll do it again.
logical leap?
Then let me do it. Thank you. So the
Mm-hmm.
logical leap is not that gang violence isn't tied to like overall like national violence, like or gang activity isn't tied to overall national violence. It's specifically that 4th of July violence, right, would
Mm-hmm.
be tied to that. That's my issue, right? That hey, like that the pattern of violence we've seen on 4th of July, specifically because that was his claim, specifically 4th of July, right, was tied to cartels rather than what we
I feel like we're saying the same thing now, but it's okay.
I don't
I get
think
you.
we
It's
are.
poor evidence. It's poor evidence.
So but I'm saying
One
that's
piece of evidence.
logical
I can list a whole bunch
to say
more, but
specifically that cartel violence is the one.
well, are you saying
Oh,
cartel
that-
violence doesn't happen on 4th of July?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay, so
But I'm
cool.
saying-
So if cartel violence,
hon.
hold
It's
on,
not
hold on,
that-
hold on.
Huh,
If
not
cartel
that-
violence is
$5
one
comes
answer
in
of-
from
of
No, no, no,
cartel
no,
violence is never
Hold on,
Hold on. I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying one instance. I'm saying we both agree that cartel violence and gang violence directly related to cartel influences happens on 4th of July. 4th of July, there's
Solid
not
rule.
only just gang violence. There's like plenty of people getting drunk and shooting their
Great.
homies. Sure.
Agreed.
However,
said.
if cartel violence and cartel influence is significantly curtailed, and we have some of the lowest shootings here, specifically in Texas, where a high number of cartel gang violence happens regularly,
No,
and we use
ignore
New
that. I
York,
don't care about
New
the
York.
rest of
Hold on.
what's happening.
New York
It
as
doesn't
well.
matter to
New
the
York as
argument
well.
with all
Hold
the
on.
other
It
things that
does.
happen
If it
in
does,
Texas.
let me finish.
Specific
Hold
only
on.
the
Oh,
4th
let me
of July
finish.
matters.
Let me finish here. And in New York City, where they also have large number of cartel members, and guess what? Neither one had as many shootings as previous years. All right. Now, other cities had big shootings, like Chicago had big shootings. That would be arguably gang violence. Cool. But I don't know if that's cartel related or not.
I don't know if it
Maybe.
was gang
Maybe not.
violence.
However, However,
be?
I mean, I'm just looking up. I've just been Googling for the last 10 minutes. But what I'm saying is, when I'm looking at these numbers and I see Texas, New York, both those two, New York City specifically, and major cities of Texas having lower shootings due to gang violence, and that's, hey, guess what?
Specifically
After
on
this,
4th of July.
specifically on 4th of July, after cartel crackdown, it's not a large leap to
here's
go,
what you no.
hey,
Here's what you need to
wow, what a
establish
crazy
that.
thing.
No, it's the
MS-13
stupidest
guy got
fucking thing.
captured, and
Here's
now
what you need
last
to
year, an
establish.
MS-13
Here's what
guy.
you need to establish.
Okay,
Here's what
in
you need to
2023,
establish that
an MS-13 guy killed 20
you need
people
to
in Fort
establish
Worth.
that 4th of July,
Like,
right, is a time that is heavily correlated with gang violence, right? Cartel violence specifically, right? Like Latin American
gangs
cartel
are
violence.
cartels.
You need to establish
The gangs
that.
are the
You need to
cartel.
establish
That's
that
clear.
Trump has degraded their abilities in the first place, and you need to establish that
they have degraded it. I mean, there's less of these
well,
crimes along the border.
you said that, but I'm saying establish it, right? I understand you've said it.
We've established it over the course of many panels now. Like, I mean, I don't know what you're even arguing at this point.
You never established that, and you just keep saying it. I get that, right? Like it's in your
I
mind.
mean, you can just look at crime stats
over
here.
and over again, but you haven't. And you're making the claim. That's why I'm saying, hey, establish any of this, but you haven't, right?
No,
so you're bullshitting.
Literally every single panel you'll ask me, I don't 15 sources, and then y'all are like, nope, those sources don't matter the next week.
It's okay. I won't make this my I won't make this my
Your
like,
hill?
I'm not gonna like die a hill.
Die on the hill?
This hill. I don't care.
I mean,
LSP,
it's just
what we do before we do the question is exactly this. We talk about different things, right? Then we'll get to it. You're here till 11:30, so sit back or participate, whatever you want to do. Any which way. So the thing that I wanted to discuss specifically though, for a pre-panel discussion, we didn't get to it. We were on Corey's horses, and Corey's horses brought us here. So blame Corey.
With peak efficiency.
Peak efficiency. That's how we
better.
travel. From better, right? That's how we travel to this.
Would have even been better if we rode camels. They're even more efficient.
They are.
Ooh.
They are.
Bruce, better
We
water
bring in
storage.
Camels. We got to bring camels into the discussion. Okay. So what I want to talk about is what happened in Texas, back to Texas, right? Specifically, with the drownings, right? The disaster that our Texas brothers and sisters are facing. Oh, actually, no. I'm sorry. Before I can't move on. I have to establish something before I move on. So I do want to get to that. That's what I want to talk about. Before we do that, I got to establish one other thing with our Republican friends. Okay, so Lactoid says that Trump lied about Epstein. Scott seems to be saying that, correct? Yes, no? He lied about the Epstein files?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell if he's just retarded or not, but yeah, he lied about it. Cash Patel and Pam Bondi, 110%.
100%. Okay, great. So we just got to make sure. I just need to ask 2 more questions. We need to establish this, and then we can move on to the other thing. Gibbs, right? I understand that like this is not a priority for you. I get that, right? And that makes sense for your in terms of like voting, right? Specifically voting, it makes sense that you have other things in mind. Of course, Epstein wasn't on top of my mind when I was voting, right, or deciding what to do with my vote. So like that's not what I'm asking you, right? I'm asking you now, as a matter of reality, did Trump lie to the American people when he said that he was going to release those files?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I don't know all the current news on it today, but it sounds based off what I have read that it seems pretty suspicious, if not a lie. Like, I mean, that would be, and that's kind of why I was going with what Scott was saying earlier. Like, I want to know how much of it's manufactured for show. Like, is he actually going to release this, or is what is this? Like, is he just like testing the waters? He's like, oh, we have to release something. I'd be almost suspect if something came out like in the next couple weeks where they do release something and like there would be doctored files if he thinks they're just like not going to let this die. You know, like, I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised at that point. But yeah, I mean, I think that he's not being honest with us about the Epstein stuff.
I'll accept that. Thank you, Gibbs. Right now, we just one more person. Right, hello, Grid. That's good to have you here. I haven't.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. I'm going well. Oh, I mean, I'm alive anyway. Grid. Would you also agree that Trump lied about releasing the Epstein files?
Well, I don't know that Trump lied. I think he misrepresented the state of his knowledge, which that might be a lie or whatever. But he was probably the thing about and this is we get into this weirdness where he's told that we have this and then they don't have it or whatever. I don't know. But I'm in the same boat with Fabian. Liberty, whether Trump lied or not, I don't know. Definitely the director of the FBI, he had to have known. Like there's no way out of it. And Pam Bondi also obviously said I think there's literally video of her saying,
I hate you guys put on for this guy is insane.
The claim now is that there's no client list, period.
Right.
There was a client list.
That's what I was getting to. Is that she said on camera that she had the list and now there is no client list. So that's a unique catch-22. I'm not really sure how they're gonna spin that shit. I don't know.
I don't know how they're gonna. You guys are doing it right now. You're spinning it right now. Like, what do you mean?
I'm not spinning.
On the spin. Let's just ask the question.
Also,
someone was lied.
You haven't actually listened long enough to know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? So this is kind of where I'm at. I'm in the I don't give a fuck crowd. It's been so long.
I'm not asking
It's been so long. It's so irrelevant.
I'm not asking. Please, you don't have to give a speech about how you don't give a fuck. I'm not.
Okay. Well, I don't care. The only two important issues.
I get you.
Did
don't care. But try. I'm not asking you to see if you're honest. This is the point. This is the point of the question. Are you an honest person yourself, right? Or are you like your favorite person, Donald Trump? Are you a liar? So, I'm asking you: did Donald Trump lie about this specific claim that he would release the files?
I'm in the same boat as Fabian. I don't know if he is just had bad information, didn't know, or he's a fucking liar. I don't know.
He's a liar.
Grid.
Really? He's a liar or not?
Let me clarify my claim.
Well, no, let's just go down the ladder, right? What Grid said
I only
earlier was
heard like the last few minutes, Fabian, because everybody was kind of yelling. So.
That's fair, but Donald Trump is a liar either way. Now he's either a liar who sold the idea that we were going to get these files and was a part of this process of covering up the files and then change tune at a later date, or B, he is a liar in that was made a liar by other individuals saying, oh yeah, we got him, we're going to get rid of these files, etc. And if B is true, where he is, where he's less culpable, I hate to quote presidents but the buck stops here.
Right.
You're in charge of this. And so
I agree with
I
agree with
is if I hear Kash Patel come out and say, oh, well, there is no client list, then the next thing needs to be, we've started an active investigation against Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi. They are being relieved of their power as of right now. We will be going through new investigations. We will find this. And if there is no list, I will update you at that point, but I've been lied to and manipulated. And this is a coup. This is a coup by the deep state to try and undermine the presidency of Donald Trump, and people need to go to prison. People need to be buried under the prison. And as far as I'm concerned, a few people need to be shot or drawn and quartered. Fuck this.
Yeah, but as long as people don't care,
as
long as people don't care, we just move on with our lives.
Books for treason, and he's not going to do that because he's a fucking liar and a corrupt piece of shit.
Yeah, but LSP, you want to respond?
Yeah, I wanted to respond to Grid originally. That's who I was trying to respond to. I had a question because he seemed to say that he doesn't know if Trump has necessarily direct culpability. Can y'all hear me?
No, I didn't say he didn't have culpability.
We can all hear you, LSP.
Okay, let me say then.
Yeah, I didn't say that he didn't have direct culpability. I said I'm in the same boat as Fabian, and now that he's clarified, I'm even further. He's basically said more eloquently than what I would say, which is either he knew or had some understanding and just made yet another rhetorical lie, or he didn't know, was fed and is being manipulated, and he needs to clean house. One of the two. Now I can't hear you. You muted yourself or something.
No,
he's not.
We can hear him. Do you have him?
I didn't click him, and it was muted on my end.
I heard him, and now I did. Now say something.
Yeah, test.
I can hear you.
I was
hear you.
heering him fine,
I
and
can
now I
hear him
don't hear
just
him.
fine.
Yeah,
I can hear him. You might want to unmute him on Discord,
It's a
maybe.
libertarian thing.
I don't even actually see him on the Discord.
Yeah, everyone else.
Oh,
well,
is it
everyone
this
else-
guy?
A27L.
A27L. He's not muted on Discord.
Wait,
Could you,
hold on. What do you have his volume set at?
Oh, that could be. Well, no, it's wide open. I literally heard him to start with, and now I don't hear him.
So you guys,
It would be pretty base just to mute somebody.
Let him go. Yeah, let him go.
LSP has to be able to hear. So Grid, leave the Discord. I'll pull you back in. Maybe that'll solve it.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
I'll just repeat what LSP says
verbatim.
No, let me. It may be. Yeah, it may just be something weird.
He hasn't gotten a chance to say anything. Grid.
Wait, hold on.
He hasn't gotten a chance to say anything.
Yeah,
Twice
let
he said
LSP. Sorry, so let Grid leave.
Say something else, LSP. Oh no, I thought I heard him there for a second. All right, stand by. Let me jump out.
Yeah, just let him leave and come back, and then you can go LSP.
The LSP curse.
This was the question I was going to direct towards Grid. That if you want to say that Donald Trump doesn't have like direct knowledge of the Epstein files, that he was misled, right? This is the deep state out to mislead him. Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, should they resign? Should they get fired? Like
Pam Bondi should be fired.
Who in this administration should be held accountable for this?
I don't. I would say Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. Kash Patel is directly in charge of the FBI, and he should have access to all that information. And same thing with Pam Bondi. I think those two, either
And Dan Bongino.
Well, I
didn't like Pam Bondi from the beginning.
I don't even remember what his position is. So, but sure,
He's,
okay.
Deputy Director of the FBI.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so Grid, you think Pam Bondi, Bongino, and Patel should all be fired?
If there's wrongdoing, sure.
Should be jailed.
Pam Bondi
There's
should be replaced with
wrongdoing
Matt
somewhere.
Gates, unironically.
Well,
I was
what
supporting
I'm
Matt Gates from the
wondering.
beginning.
Oh, I guess my question's in twofold. Like, one is Grid, how are you? In what ways are you going to hold this administration responsible if somebody's lying? And two, don't you see it as a bit of an indictment on the president that people he keeps appointing keep being these monumentous fuck ups?
He has to see that they're lying. He doesn't know that they're lying yet, right? That's his whole thing.
He's their boss. He should know that they're lying.
I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure if they're lying.
Sure,
he doesn't know what's real and what's not anymore. He doesn't know what's
politicians.
Because
So
you're
80%
literally
of them are gonna be
looking at
liars
people
no matter
who
what.
manipulate entire narratives. So what do you we only know what we can see, right? Like for all I know,
That's
the
Bongino,
problem.
for all I know,
our president is manipulated by narratives and
So for
hires
all I know,
people who lie to the
Bongino
American
has
people.
literally like has dirt on Bondi and whoever and Patel and she's blackmailing both of them. For all I know, I don't know.
For
and
all you know, then why would
either.
Trump hire these people? I don't know. That should be disconcerting to you. That if you don't know this, why
Right,
would you
I don't
endorse
know
a guy
this.
who puts these kinds of people in positions of power?
That's happened throughout history. What are you talking about? I've hired bad people.
My question was
I've
very
hired
direct.
people-
If
I've
you
hired
don't
people that
know
have
if
stolen
these
from me, is
people
that- what
are trying to
reflection on
undermine
me
the
is that?
president,
What reflection
No, my
on
question
me
is
is
very-
that is that when I hire someone that steals from me?
right? My question is very direct.
Yes, my
what would
answer
it
is
take?
also very direct.
Grid, what if you hired somebody who steals from me and then don't fire them?
If I don't fire them, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem, and that's the problem I have with Trump, right? Like if it's proven out that this is a
Did it
truth,
make me
then
rich?
you got to get rid of him.
Who would be?
We don't need any proof. We like
Well,
the proof is already on camera.
Bondi and Patel both are on camera video saying, "Hey, we've got
Right.
this. This is what we're going to do."
We're going to release it.
Bongino,
We're
I'm not
going
really
through,
sure.
like, I mean, fucking Kash Patel went on Joe Rogan and described how they're going
Yes, he
through the
did.
records and they're going to release the records and
can I ask a
they're not
question?
going to. And he says we're not going to re-victimize people by like putting out like the victims' names, and that's one of the reasons why we have to go through line by line and make sure that the records are
That's what I remember
like,
as well. I'm
acceptable.
glad that I'm not the one.
Right. And so both of those people are without a doubt lying.
Right.
Now, yeah, an investigation needs to take place because maybe they're being blackmailed or maybe they're being threatened in some capacity, right? That just means more people need to go to jail, not that these people, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, the director of the FBI has had his house raided multiple times by multiple different agencies. You know what I mean? Like it's not impossible for, state officials to be blackmailed. I mean, it's kind of part and parcel of the CIA from like the 1960s up until the 1990s, and then magically
y'all just
somehow got
clarify
better or
something.
something.
I just want something clarified real quick. All right, so I've seen all the stuff with Bondi and with Patel, I know Dan Bongino is the deputy director of the FBI, and I guess my question, this is really just a clarifying question. I haven't really seen much of his stuff post getting put in the FBI, being associated with the Epstein stuff. Like, is he like been like coming out and talking about the Epstein list a lot? I don't remember him doing that.
Yeah, he is.
Like,
so I mean, he
like,
hasn't gotten
since he got put in there. Because I'm wondering if he's like running other areas of the department, and
he has made multiple statements as if he is an active part of the process, and that and Kash Patel and him have both said we when they're talking about each other, and in charge of releasing the Epstein files, right? So that is why I bring him. I wouldn't normally just say automatically.
Yeah, I was
the
just
deputy
curious.
director
I
is
didn't
involved.
remember that.
I'm kind of curious too. I mean, it seems like there's a lot to this, and there's going to be a hell of an investigation.
Can I
if
ask
it
a
gets
question?
investigated, to be honest.
What investigation?
They're going to investigate themselves and find nothing.
Wait. There's a better question. There's a better question.
But wait on. But literally, the head of the FBI is saying that there is no evidence. There's nothing to investigate, so there won't be an investigation. Like it's not.
Well, I mean, the head of the FBI can say that, but there are other agencies that investigate federal agencies.
Sure. What agency, right, under Donald Trump? Because Trump hasn't come out and said, "Oh, snap!" Right? Like this is crazy.
Why would
I
he
know
do
there's
that?
a list.
Why would he do that?
Yeah, it's pretty clear Trump endorses this narrative.
Do you believe
hold on,
is real?
So if if you're cleaning house, do you make an announcement that you're bringing the NSA in to clean fucking house, or DIA?
What? Yes, you announced that you're going to
announce that? Oh,
that you're going to purge.
You're an idiot.
Yes, that you were going to purge. They've already announced they're purging several other agencies. Why are you acting like this?
Yeah, sure. After the investigations are mostly done, that's not how that works.
Did you miss like the first 2 weeks of Trump's administration where he went through and axed like 50,000 people from like the federal workforce?
Well,
they already do purges.
A, that wasn't Trump, and B, that wasn't an investigation. I mean, seriously,
It wasn't Trump. Who was it?
Are you this bad at this?
Who was it? If it wasn't
Elon
Trump, who was
Musk
it?
and Doge. And
who was Elon Musk working for?
They were not. They were not
his
investigating
department of?
wrongdoing. They're not police officers.
What is Doge a department of?
Trump doesn't do
investigating
anything. He's just the president.
I haven't actually.
He doesn't do anything. He's just the president.
Yeah, bro. What do you mean? Wait, Grid, do you believe the Epstein list is real?
I can't. With
Do
this
you
guy.
think
my
Epstein
honest
no?
opinion. My honest opinion. I have this weird thing about the Epstein thing. There has to be video somewhere. There's no way you have cameras.
There's supposed to be
Yeah, the
video.
FBI is hiding it. That's the issue.
there's
You believe the list is real
Why does it have to be the FBI?
because they're the ones who have
That would
the
be
list.
who
and
would
they're
have
not
the video.
releasing
Why
anything.
would
So,
why
like,
does
do
it
you
have to be
believe
the
this
FBI?
list
It can't
is
be the
real?
CIA, it can't be.
Oh my god, I don't care. Use
NSA,
any
it can't
agency.
be-
I don't
it
give a
can't
fuck.
be,
They're
Russian.
covering it up. Do
Maybe
you
the
believe
Russians.
the list
You
is
guys
real?
Don't think the Russians have it, or maybe
Oh my God, do you
maybe
believe the
China
list
has
is
it. I don't
real?
know.
The list.
Do you
And
believe the list
this
is
is another
real?
thing. They fly all these people out here. There's
Yes
not
or no
one
question.
cell
Do you
phone
believe the
video,
list is real?
not one cell phone video anywhere on the
So
internet.
you don't believe the list is real?
Is the list real?
It's fine. You don't believe the list is real. It's okay.
to me, right?
Grid. Stop distracting. Desperately
Not
distract.
distracting.
What words are coming out of my mouth?
Desperately distract. Grid. People are asking you very simple questions.
Sure.
Do you believe the client list is real?
How would I know?
So he doesn't believe the list is real. It's that simple.
I don't
is
know
it?
that
That's
it's real.
simple.
Do
Do you know that it's real? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know there's a client
You know,
list with
okay,
Epstein from the island. Yeah, of course I know it's real.
Let me try it this way. Did you believe Pam Bondi when she said she had a list on her desk? Do you think she was being truthful then?
I don't.
That she was lying then.
No, I didn't believe Pam Bondi had a list. And this is actually part of the reason why is because here's part of the reason why. Because the Democrats investigated Trump for
Democrats.
2 years to put him on that island.
Democrats.
To put him on that island. They looked at every flight.
I told you,
every
anything to own the Dems.
vacation, everything he
Democrats
did
made
to put
Trump
him
go to
on that
Epstein's island.
And if
Greg,
they had
can I
found
want to meet you.
Yeah,
something-
anything
if they
to
had
own the
found
Dems.
something,
That's
it would
insane,
have
bro. You
been
guys are
made public.
insane.
It would have. So
he came to
guys are
Jesus.
insane.
He stopped going to
I want to say
Epstein's
something real
Island,
quick.
bro. It came to the Republican Party.
Grid,
That's what happened.
I fully agree that the Democrats are inconsistent on this issue, but we voted for something different, right?
But
Pam
I'm not
Bondi
even
said-
talking about different. I'm talking about
Bro, you got
literally an
lied to. It's
investigation
fine.
of a magnitude that's rarely seen to put one person on an island.
You
in a
guys got
place, in a
scammed for your
situation,
vote. It's
and
fine.
they were never able to do it.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
I've had multiple debates. I've had multiple debates where I've debated the New York fraud case and the felonies where it's all bullshit. And yes, a lot of the lawfare against Trump was bullshit. There's so much bullshit that was there. And yes, Democrats are highly inconsistent when it comes to this, no doubt. But Pam Bondi said that she had all these files on her desk. And you have Kash Patel going on Joe Rogan.
Well, I remember what she said.
They
She
have
said
all
that
these
she had the
videos that
list
they're
and it was
reviewing.
going to be released. She had the full list and it was going to be released.
Because
Well, not list,
she
but
lied.
The
She
full
lied.
paper.
And the only question in my mind, there's only two possibilities. One, she lied and she knew the whole time, and she was just using this for some kind of like political getup, which is fucked in of itself. But the other one is a little bit more pernicious, which is that they actually do have the dirt, but there's some force that's compelling her to say they don't. That scares the hell out of me. And the whole idea of draining the swamp means that we shouldn't be beholden to either category. We shouldn't be beholden to people who lie to us, and we shouldn't be beholden to people who feel compelled to lie to us because there's some kind of like force behind the scenes telling them to lie to us. Like it's I don't know.
That is, I feel so bad for Lactoid.
I don't think Pam Bondi was even a good
so
candidate to
bad for
begin
you,
with.
Lactoid.
There's so many people we could have put instead of Pam Bondi. She's not good. Just replace her.
She's awful. Agreed. Gibbs, you want to say something?
Yeah, I like kind of want to like kind of maybe bridge the gap between like what like Grid's saying and kind of what y'all are doing here. I think I know that I said already it was dishonest, but like when I voted for Trump, like right, this was not high on my list, and I know we can debate on whether or not that's good or bad. Let's not do that. Just for the sake of argument, follow with me, right? When I'm sitting here, I'm like, all right, all the conservatives for fucking years have gotten in the conspiracy circles and sat here and gone, these fucking rich elites, they're fucking them kids and they're on the adrenochrome and they're going to the island for years, right? So whenever rich elite Donald Trump comes down and tells us, oh, back in 2016, hey, all the things you think they're doing in that big house over there, they're doing it. And then he comes out and says this shit, and he comes out and he's like, we're going to change some of that if I get elected. You know, it's like an honest liar, right? And so when I come here and we're here today and we're sitting here going, oh, are you surprised that he's hiding the Epstein list? One, I'm going to say something maybe y'all are going to freak out about, but just let me finish here. I don't know whether the Epstein client list is real. Like, how are we going to define that? I'm sure there's videos. I'd like to know if them saying the client list isn't real, it means they're going to stop looking at these videos. I'd rather know about that. But on the flip side, like when I'm sitting here looking at real results, like I don't have this concern about whether this guy's over here doing this or shit. For all I know, they're probably all doing it. But why are you surprised that this is happening, guys? Whenever last week or like 3 weeks ago, they were like, or maybe it was a month ago now. I'm not sure. It all blurs together at this point. But they said, oh, we have the video. I've seen it of Epstein hanging himself after like right before there was no video, and now they're like, oh, we misspoke. We haven't seen the video. And like this just happened like recently, like of Epstein hanging. Yeah, there was a whole like, oh, I saw the video.
There's a whole thing.
Yeah, and then like later there was like, I didn't see it. I misspoke. Like that already to me seems like there are. Was it Patel? I don't know. Like that already to me seems like they're pulling the old rigmarole bamboozle, right? Like there's some bullshit happening. So whenever this happens today, like y'all are surprised.
No.
Wait. I'll be back in 1 minute. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Sure.
I mean, even to make my conservative brothers here, like that's what I'm asking. I know y'all are like surprised, like aren't surprised that they're lying.
Yeah, because
but like, but like, why are y'all surprised after like just last week this video disappeared and reappeared kind of thing? Like,
can I just add a little bit of context to that as well? The Office of Professional Responsibility from the DOJ, November 2020 report, found that there's an 11-month gap in Alex Acosta's emails where everything from the DOJ to him, there was an update. And so all of the evidence of what the original Epstein investigation where he got the sweetheart deal, all of that is like all of the emails with the DOJ are gone. Whoops! Just like the camera footage that proved, the camera's cut off, and then we were like, oh, we actually found camera footage. Oh, I guess we don't have camera footage. Like this entire thing is so obviously a fucking cover up, and the only question is how deep does the cover up go? That is the only question.
And to be clear, right? So everyone knows Alex Acosta was the attorney general or the prosecutor who gave Epstein the sweetheart deal, right?
That's what I said. Yeah.
No. It was for everyone else. Right? That gave Epstein a sweetheart deal, and then later became Trump's part of Trump's cabinet. Right, a labor secretary, I think it was. Right, so let's just understand. This is after all that nonsense.
And he stated that he was told that Epstein belonged to intelligence, and that's why he gave him a sweetheart deal.
Exactly. So let's be clear about what we're dealing with. So let's not bullshit about the type of person Trump is, right? He's literally everyone who's been on Pam Bondi also was connected to the Epstein prosecutions, right? And then she dropped charges. Now, what do you know? What do you know? She's promoted. I don't know. Interesting. Another example.
Yeah. Really. So like the issue with like arguing with Gibbs or Grid on this is that they were like, it seems to be that maybe Gibbs more than Grid, they're like one issue voters, whereas Gibbs is like the border. I fuck the border, because all Gibbs is saying is, look, listen, I'm seeing real results, so I don't really care about the other shit. I didn't vote for the other shit. Grid, I don't necessarily know what you specifically voted on. It seems like the border was probably a big thing. I don't know what your other things on, but I don't know if you voted for like Trump, right? You voted for this one policy and you thought Trump could do it, whereas like someone like Lactoid was like, overall, Trump is better than and he's going to get my shit done. And I feel like Lactoid's just been taking L's on his vote.
To be clear,
ever since that vote was cast, Lactoid's been taking L after L.
The first 2 months were awesome. I'm
empathetic to you, Lactoid. I'm empathetic to you, Lactoid, because we had this conversation before the election when I said, I don't think it's a principled vote to vote for Trump because this guy's not going to, you can't trust him. He's not going to do any of the shit you want him to do. And he's going to end up flopping. He's going to fuck you over. So you can sit here and you're going to criticize him. But when we're talking to Gibbs and Grid about like the Epstein list and how far and how deep this is going, how even Trump's administration now seems to be covering up for the Epstein list. You guys do this thing where it's like the Dems. If Biden or Obama or anyone fucking near their administration was doing this with the Epstein list in your faces, you'd be fucking in the streets with pitchforks saying how you need to save the kids from the rapists and how the Dems are this and the libs are no. Yes, you fucking would. Yes, you fucking would. Because even no. Because even though you didn't vote for the list, the fact that it was a big part of why MAGA voted for the list, the fact that they boasted about it so much should prove to you that the guy you voted for is an unprincipled
We'd be yelling about it 100%.
Right?
Hold on.
Because you're saying just because you're seeing a result for one fucking issue doesn't mean the whole country isn't dealing with a larger issue at scale. So just take ownership to that. Because you guys can't even admit that the list is real. You guys don't even believe the island is real at this point.
No, that's not what I said either. First of all,
you literally said you don't know how you would say the list is because whatever a list means. It's a client list. It's people who fuck kids on an island.
Hold on, that's not what I said. First of all, I didn't say that. I mean, I already said that they probably all are cahoots. First of all, secondly, I'm not a one-issue voter. There's a lot of issues that I voted for.
We understand that.
Sure, yeah, but whenever I'm sitting here going, yeah, there's all these real results being changed, right? Like when I'm looking at economic changes, big fan of that. I got mad at Trump about changing maybe his ag policy with the immigrants. I was mad about that one, right? I called him out on that. So that's part of the major issue, right? That we're having, right? I've said these things I'm upset about with Trump, but overall, it's drastic improvement over what I would have had, right? And so when you're sitting here trying to say it's a principled vote, okay, I'm sorry, I gotta be honest. Maybe Lactoid got bamboozled by this list, but when it comes to foreign policy, he's done exactly what I wanted. Right? He's coming with a big stick. I need a big stick. Exactly, right? He's coming
foreign policy?
Yeah, big fan so far.
No, he just announced, okay, maybe you'll like this, but he just announced new arms shipments to Ukraine.
But he'll love that. You know,
more wins for
See, like,
Lactoid.
Yeah, see,
No,
that's
Gibbs
not-
loves it though because it's
That's
just more
how
depth,
that you
right? He
can't
loves
you
depth.
can't argue with that. You
Hold
can't
on,
argue
City,
with that.
if I
man.
go down a list of
That's
these
why
things,
I'm not trying.
hold on.
hun,
If I want to go
but
down a
that's why
list
I'm
of
not
these
trying
things,
to argue
it'll-
about that. Like,
sure,
the
I know, but
priorities.
I'm
You
responding
get
to
it.
social logic right here, though, right?
Yeah, that's why
Like,
I'm going into this.
well,
This is
I just want
pointless.
to say, like,
Right, sorry,
yeah, it's
yeah.
all shitty. It's all shitty, right? And I'm not sitting here going,
Rob has
oh,
been
it's
prolific on Twitter
good.
about this, by the way.
Yeah, Rob has been trolling out left and right, and like I think that like it's unfair when y'all are like, oh, we're gonna go to MAGA, and we're just gonna stick them for this one thing. And what it seems like you're doing,
You guys are
is,
splitting
hold
on it.
Is your hunting wins because you're so desperate to get one that we're gonna do anything, whether
Wait, who's getting
Well,
one here?
but
We're all
you-
losing.
you-
Wait.
I just heard Lactoid imply the Illuminati is controlling, Trump over here, or these people.
I
The
didn't
deep
say it's the
state's getting
Illuminati.
them.
You got-
You
hold
said
on,
the
hold on.
deep state
Give-
or whatever, bro.
give me
That's
one
literally what you
second,
just
and I'll
did,
give it
bro.
back
Come
to you.
on.
No,
Now you're a
no.
defector. Now
That's
you're a
the
defector, Lactoid. You're no
No,
longer
no,
MAGA. You're no
wait,
longer
wait, wait, wait,
Republican.
He's never was
No, no,
MAGA.
That's
Gibbs,
public
Gibbs.
logic.
What I
I'm
meant by
sorry.
shadowy
Hold on,
forces
guys. Just one
is
point
I think it was
ask all
elements
of
of
you
the government.
indignant people here.
Or
You
other
guys
governments,
all
perhaps.
condoned elder abuse when you knew that Biden was absolutely out of his head.
Who condoned
The
elder
4
abuse? I
years,
wanted Biden
and you
out.
all voted for him, and not one
I
of
didn't
you
vote for
fuckers, not
Biden.
one of you, when we said Biden is incapable of performing his
Hold
office,
on.
every
I
single
literally-
one of
Who
you
the
guys said,
fuck
no,
are
he's
you
not.
talking
No, he's
to,
not.
bro? Who's
No,
the
he's
ghost
not.
that you're
No, he's
talking
not.
to here?
Yeah.
The elder abuse.
Who are the ghosts that you're talking to,
Grid,
bro?
I don't even. Sorry, Grid. Hold on. I don't know if you were even here, part of this panel back then, right? I don't know if you were even part of the panel back then. Oh, okay, you're watching. So you didn't ask us anything, right? Great.
I didn't get that.
So yeah,
Never once
on this
defined-
panel, I specifically have went through great pains to question Biden's sanity, right? So I don't know why you're trying to distract with that, right? That's so fucking
Not
you
a
interrupt the
distraction,
panel.
simply
Yeah,
rebuttal of the points that you're trying to make.
yeah, it's not a rebuttal. It's not a
Not-
rebuttal.
not
Point.
to anyone.
Biden didn't come up at all. How's
No
that
one
a
here.
rebuttal
No
of
one here
anyone's
is
point?
like.
Point
Not at
is
all.
that
Not even a
he
rebuttal.
voted for
Okay.
Trump, and you
Yeah,
think
I'm
he
sorry,
voted for
Scott,
Trump
hold on, sorry.
knowing that
I'm
all of
trying
this
to-
nonsense was going to go on, and that's not true.
No, that's my point. You thought something else was going to happen, and your guys are getting fucking bamboozled.
Here's the thing. I didn't vote for
Everything's
Trump
lined
to
up
release
aces
the
for
Epstein
Gibbs.
list. I didn't.
Oh my God,
care.
you are
I
not
don't
the
care.
only person
I
who
don't
voted. Your
care.
your wait, your
I care about-
individual
I care
vote is
about-
not what
I
what
care
the fuck
about
I'm talking
policy.
about.
I care
So-
about getting
Your
on the
individual
train.
vote is not what I'm
Hold
talking
So,
about.
hey,
What I'm
pull
talking
back, pull
about.
back. This is why I didn't. Sorry, to be clear, this is why I didn't ask. I tried to avoid this, right? Because what they're going to do is just going to personalize this and say,
Mhm.
"Well, I didn't vote for this."
My individual
And so,
vote, I know.
well, I can skip the whole.
Well, that's what you're
conversation.
supposed to do.
The only thing that matters, right? Why I narrowed it down is whether like Trump lied, right? So it's not about a personal thing about
Who is
hey,
based.
your personal preferences. It's whether reality is reality here. That's all I was testing with them, right? For Grid, reality is not reality. Clearly, right?
No, that's what I was saying. I was saying
Gibbs-
that the
Gibbs-
individual vote isn't what matters. Is if the base feels like it's lied to, and the base is coming in.
but-
There's
but-
a
but-
vote
but-
there.
but- we got it.
About like
Prime,
Gibbs
I
will
need
sell the
to-
kids down the river
it's
for
fine.
the
We
dub.
move past this, right? So I was gonna give them these two, Scott and Lactoid. You can respond, and then I want to move on to the disaster in Texas, and then we can get into start with the topic. Go ahead.
Sure.
Who
Well,
first? Oh, okay.
I'll go first. Gibbs, when I didn't say Illuminati, just to be clear, I think that what I'm concerned about is there being government figures potentially
Shadows.
implicate. Yeah. No, not even necessarily like shadowy figures that we don't know who they are. There could be like members of Congress or members high up in different administrations that are implicated in some way or the other that for whatever reason Trump doesn't want to, or Pam doesn't want to kind of expose the identity of or implicate. It's also possible there's other governments, potential U.S. allies that are involved as well. That's concerning, right? There's a whole bunch of Prince Andrew was like, there's been allegations against him. That's the UK, very close U.S. ally. What other UK figures potentially are involved? That's concerning, right? There are concerns that I think when I'm talking about like shadowy figures, that's really what I'm concerned about. And when it comes to like, I think it is a strength because for so long, especially during the campaign, a lot of people were making criticisms of people who voted for Trump, saying that I think Destiny referred to me one time as like a Zergling, right? People refer to like people who vote for Trump as like these mind-controlled zealots. that will never criticize their own side.
That'd be a good analogy.
Never criticize their own side, right? But we're seeing like Ben Garrison just made a meme criticizing the administration over this Epstein shit. Ben Garrison, right? Basically, the only person who's like still on board is Benny Johnson, who I believe will go to the ends of the earth to justify anything this administration does, regardless. But almost everybody else is like, this is pretty shitty. What the fuck? And I think that demonstrates a level of principle on the right that the left has just been like completely underestimated and has been lying about this whole time. The fact that so many Trump voters are pissed about this because they do feel lied to, and they aren't just these like pro-Trump zealots. They do have principles. So in some ways, like pushing back on this is a demonstration that the left is wrong. And that needs to be emphasized. This isn't like an L to like shit on the administration for hiding this. It's a W. It's showing that we're not going to tolerate this no matter who does it. Like we voted, at least in part, because you promised this. And now here we are. And it seems like you've gone back on that promise. That's messed up. That's messed up. It just is. There's no way around it, in my opinion.
Before we go to Scott quickly, I just wanted to read a super chat from our friend Alexander Wynn, $10. But he's asking something I had already asked before, but I'll read it out. He says, "I wonder, do you think?" He didn't say who is you, but like, I wonder, do you think there is a verifiable list that is being kept from us, or they just lied about what they had? So yeah, we had already asked this, Alexander Wynn. Thank you for the $10 for the kindness and supporting this channel as always. Well, Gibbs. Actually, I didn't actually. This is Gibbs. So I'll ask this quickly of Gibbs, right? We did ask this of Grid, and he says he's not sure if that was the case. Not sure. He's not answering yes or no. But Gibbs, do you believe there was a list previously?
I mean, I don't know what like. I don't want to be. This is not a meme when I first say this. I promise. I don't know what y'all call it. A list, like a list. I'm
The
sure there
client
are. Hold on. Yeah, right. I like a client list. Like, are we saying like just his phone numbers, or do you have a piece of paper written down? I'm sure there was some document somewhere that we could call a list of clients. I'm sure that exists.
Okay.
You don't know what
somewhere.
constitutes a list?
No. What I'm saying is like if you got like if I wanted to get my client list, I have managed accounts. Like I don't have like a document, like one document that's got all my list on. I would have like 3 or 4 different Excel sheets. I'd have like 2 different phones. Like you wouldn't have just like one centralized location.
But you
where,
would
like
a list.
but like you could
Even though
find
it's not
something.
There's a collection of names.
Yeah, you could find.
somewhere.
I'm sure there's something somewhere with a
Okay,
collection of
so-
names. Yeah,
so,
but
sure.
I mean, that's just asinine to
So
think
let me
that
narrow
doesn't
this down a
exist.
little bit, just a little bit more, right? And don't worry, we'll move on to our friend Scott. But Gibbs specifically, right? When Pam Bondi said she had records, right? And that they were going through these records and they're going to release these records. And she said she had on her desk. Do you believe her then, or do you believe her now when she says there is no list?
I don't believe Pam Bondi as far as I could throw all our weight combined together, like at all. I don't believe any government official when they tell me
This is
anything.
the
So,
administration.
This is a binary thing. This is a binary thing, right? Either the list exists or it doesn't. That's why I'm testing here. So, like, do you think she was lying in the first statement that she had the records, or the second statement where the records don't exist?
I'll tell you this: I'm sure she was lying. I don't know which one's the correct statement. I just don't have enough information.
Okay,
I haven't followed close
I'll
enough.
leave it there.
But
then.
I don't believe she's trustworthy. If you're asking me that,
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Well, should she
fair
get
enough.
believe
fired
anybody
then
can-
if she was lying, Gibbs?
I mean, if she, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'll go with this. If she was lying about either situation, I think that's probably a fireable offense. If she said, "Hey, I have the list," and there's no list, then that's a fireable thing. And if she, then that implies one bad thing. But if there was no list, and then there suddenly came up with a list, that's bad. I mean, they're both bad. Like I
Okay.
don't think,
Sure.
So
if she lied, then she should be fired.
So
Fair enough.
I just had a
Right.
quick look. I mean, don't take this, but Pam Bondi did not say that she had the list. She said that we deserve
Records.
the truth. There's no direct quote from her saying that she had. I can't find a direct quote from her saying I have the list. Not that search engines are infallible, but however, in this 2020 arguments. In the impeachment trial argument, she presented chart of connections and timelines, suggesting a detailed record, which has some been interpreted as a list. Now, I don't know that. That actually comes from the impeachment trial, and just really quickly what Google will find for me. I'm not a very good Googler, no, I don't know that she lied. I'm just telling you, I don't know. I think that she's being deceitful. Do I believe that she's being deceitful and not telling us the whole truth? Yes, but I believe that of 90% of government workers.
Great. I have to read something real quick. Okay. During a February 21st interview with Fox News, host John Roberts asked whether DOJ would release a, quote, list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? Roberts asked. Bondi responded, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
I remember
that's been
that.
a directive
that
by President Trump.
well.
I do remember saying that. I do remember saying that now.
Yeah, I remember her saying that it's sitting on my desk, but I didn't imply that that was a list of names, I guess.
What else would it be?
Client list? What else besides names?
Hey, find the cape.
You understand what I understand that the what they.
Okay, Grid, let me build
one less Superman doesn't have a strong cape.
Hold on, just for funsies, Grid. Let me try this with you, Grid. You own businesses, right? Like you
own businesses, right? You have lists in different places. Different types of lists. One's on Excel, one's on Word, one's a contact list on my phone. I don't fucking know.
Hold on, Ollie. I get what you're doing here, Ollie, but I guess the point of making is like
what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything.
Let me just finish here. I think you're gonna be glad I finished, right? Like this is why I said this earlier. Like I know that we're like laughing about it. What is a list? How do what is the definition of a list is? No, I don't think that Grid, if you own mobile business, you probably don't have one central location. However, I'm sure. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm sure that though, if the government came in, they could come up with a client list based off the information that you have stored somewhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at.
List of people we've billed, but that's it's not like we have a list of people that we send postcards out to or any of that.
Hey, Grid, you understand that it doesn't matter if the list says at the top clients on it, right?
Right.
Like, that doesn't actually matter.
That's why I'm saying you guys are really quick to jump to a bunch of conclusions around what says in an interview.
You have a client
look,
and then she said it's on my desk.
Man, this is the most hilarious thing I've ever said. If I were doing this to anybody on the
left, cape is the most hilarious thing. I need you guys to wear Superman costumes the next time you come into the.
I'm gonna save this next time.
Bulletproof.
Just wait.
I don't know. Like,
you guys
I feel like I'm being pretty
nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen.
It is pretty well established that I'm willing to tell some people down the river to get things changed in my way. I don't know why y'all are surprised that I would have that position. Like,
no, we're talking about Grid right now, any which way. But like, let's move
just
past.
To be clear.
I mean, this is the MAGA cult. This is what it looks like.
No, it's not.
This is what it looks like.
It is, bro. Yeah, it is, bro. You drank the Kool-Aid.
What's the list? What are clients?
Can you define a list?
I don't know.
Have they defined a list?
I can't fathom.
You remember what?
Who knows what it could be? Who knows what a client list might refer to?
Did you even look at them?
Sorry, what did you say?
Did you remember the redacted documents that they did release?
Yeah, I did look at them.
The list of names.
Within the documents that I saw, that like
it was the flight.
It wasn't a list of
right?
Sorry.
It was a flight manifest list and some other documents, correct?
Okay. Yeah. So, what's the point then?
Flight manifest would tell you who was on the flight if you looked into the records.
Wait, if you look, that there's a person, a name, and how much you build them or whatever services.
What did I say before?
Right? Like you guys are.
What did I say before?
This is the dumbest thing.
Doesn't matter if it says client at the top, right? There's all kinds of ways, like Gibbs was saying. There's all kinds of ways that you could.
You guys are being very specific
and establish who does business.
We're actually not being specific. You're being specific.
Great. Is there? Yeah. Whether I like one thing, it's been stated that Jeffrey Epstein had a little black book, right? That's what people said.
That'd be great.
The phrase little black book, right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So, but maybe that.
All we gotta do is search Pam Bondi's desk.
Yeah. Maybe that
He
was
doesn't believe they
It
have
might
that.
be.
He doesn't
It might
believe we
be.
have the
Yeah,
little black
maybe
bear.
that
Could be
wasn't
one next to
maybe
Ark.
that wasn't literal, but whatever,
It's right
right?
next
But
to
even
the
just
13
like Gibbs
terabytes of
previously said, if
video.
you go into your business, if we go into your business right now, and
Mhm.
even there's not a list that says clients at the top, right? We could very easily, in very
You
short
could generate
manner,
a
figure
list
out
that you
who is
believe
doing business with you, right? And that would be, what would that be if we manage that? Right? What would we call it if we generated that list after going through your records? What would we call that?
Well, you would call it some kind of list. I don't know, but they may not be clients.
Yeah, you would
Please just move on. Please just move on. Please.
I'm not
please.
gonna give this one
This
away.
hurts.
You're
Yeah, I know.
hurt.
Because
Yeah,
you're-
what do you mean you're not
you're-
gonna give it
I'm not gonna
away?
give this
Crazy
away because
dishonest,
I think
right?
that
It's
you
okay.
guys
This
are looking
is
for
what the
something
MAGA
very
cult looks like.
specific.
It's okay.
I'm not gonna give it to you.
Yeah, I know, because that would be reality, and you're trying to stay far the fuck away from that because it makes your cult leader look bad. Established. Thank you, Scott. You can wrap it up for us.
Yeah. So, Grid, you asked, of these people that are indignant about this situation, did they call out elder abuse in the Biden administration? The answer is, at least for me, absolutely. I'm indignant about this list, and I was indignant about the fact that we had a bumbling artard for a president that clearly wasn't running the government. Unfortunately, we elected another likely bumbling artard that isn't in charge of the government. And I think the Epstein list is kind of showcasing that, either he is a horrible, corrupt monster that belongs under the jail, or, should be executed publicly, which I'm talking about Donald Trump, or he is a bumbling idiot that doesn't run the government, because there are more powerful people than Donald Trump that are running his administration. These are really the only two options at this point. And both of them should be extremely concerning. I didn't vote for Donald Trump, right? I said in 2020, at the end of his administration, where I was not an anarchist in 2020. I was probably an anarchist by about 2021, 2022. So I was still more aligned with Lactoid. And I said there were three names, and these three names are the reasons why I will never vote for Donald Trump again. Number one was Edward Snowden. Number two was Julian Assange. Number three was Epstein. The fact that he left his first administration without pardoning those two individuals was an insult to the American public and promises that he made on the campaign trail in 2015. And then he reneged on those things. He's been a liar in his first presidency. I liked, towards the end, after he got rid of John Bolton, that he was less. But, listen, you don't need an Epstein client list to know that our government has influences from Israel and the UK and several other Five Eyes nations and the CIA. You can go, there are public records right now, and you can go to shit I've been talking about for years. vault.fbi.gov/the-finders. And you can go through pages and pages, and through those heavily redacted, oops, there was water damage, so we don't have the unredacted files on the fucking FBI's website right now. You can go through it and you can see that there was a group of children that were being trafficked, that Tennessee police caught them on their way down south, that they investigated it, that the FBI came in on behalf of the CIA and stepped in, and that the Tennessee police officers found in Virginia near Langley that they had tapes and instructions and cages for children, and that there was a cult that was run by the intelligence community where they were sex trafficking children so that they could use them to blackmail other individuals through other powerful individuals. This has been happening. The Finders is from the late 80s to the early 90s. This has been happening for fucking decades, and they obviously have control of the Trump presidency. The Trump can get some things done, but at the end of the day, your vote doesn't fucking matter. And Trump is just another swamp creature, and he's either incredibly incompetent or a liar. And the only way I can go back on this incredible incompetence is in this exact moment. He immediately gets rid of Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, and has an extreme investigation. But he's not going to do that. What he's going to do is he's going to drum up some bullshit immigration thing, put a bunch of fucking, presumably, at least in my opinion, not in yours, innocent fucking people in jail along with some gang members, put some fucking memes up, and hope that it distracts people long enough to where they no longer care about the fact that our government is literally run by fucking powerful pedophiles, and that the concept of a democracy is meaningless. And anytime I hear a right winger, I'm not trying to fucking come at you specifically.
No, it's
right?
cool, man.
Gibbs, I'm coming at him too here. But anyway, when I hear a right winger be like, oh, this isn't really that big of a deal to me. This should be a bigger deal than literally any other issue. Is that your entire government is an illusion, and that there are people whose names we don't fucking know that are running and calling our government, and that the people that are supposed to stop that are just going, oops, I guess oopsie, 11 months of emails deleted. Oops, I said there was video. I guess that was a lie, but who cares? I put Lupita in jail. Aren't you happy now? Like, fuck these monsters. Fuck these people. The founding fathers would have put bullets in their heads for way less. I'm not saying that you should do what the founding fathers did. I'm just saying that they would have, and you know it, and every right winger ought to know it.
Yeah, and I agree with Scott with a lot of what you said. The question is that I'm in the waiting. I want to know more. I want more information. I want more actual documentation and not rhetoric from the news media.
Well, while you're waiting, go check out vault.fbi.gov.
I've actually seen some of that. I've actually seen some of that.
Some sick as
The
shit.
Tennessee thing was
and it's
kind of in my
heavily redacted.
backyard. I mean, not really
fair
in
enough.
East Tennessee, but
Sure.
but you know, it wasn't too far.
We're gonna move past this, right? We'll wait.
Thanks,
I'm sure
Sluts.
Grid will update us one day when he decides that Trump's a liar, right? When he's seen enough evidence, I'm sure he'll get to us.
Or incompetent.
Or incompetent. But we'll have to leave it there. I was going to talk about the Texas situation with the floods, but this took a lot longer than I thought it was. I was like, oh, we're just going to get a yes or no answer. We weren't going to get a yes or no answer, but that's okay. Okay.
No, this is like, I've been quiet angry this whole time. Like, this is a big deal to me, and it should be a big deal to fucking everyone.
I agree.
I think it's going to end up overtaking the question of the panel.
Yeah, let's go to. We can go to our actual.
It's
topic.
very closely tied to.
Yeah,
it's close to the topic. You know.
Here, I'm going to give a bone. I'm going to give a bone to Grid. Kamala would not have released anything either.
No.
Well, Biden didn't.
I agree.
Biden had 4 years. He had 4 years. Release it all.
I agree. No, fuck them both. It shows.
So did Trump.
It shows they're both tied into them.
Trump did. Yeah,
Trump also had that so many years. Yeah. Yeah. It shows that both
like 3.5,
parties,
but
both parties are tied in with whatever powers are involved. Right. Probably Israel. And put that. This is probably a Mossad operation. There's plenty of connections to Mossad involved in this thing, but I guess we can't talk about that.
Definitely Israel. Definitely Mossad.
It's just probably a lot more than Israel.
We don't know if it's Israel, guys. Come on.
It's definite. It's 1,000% Israel, bro.
Like
Epstein had connections to Mossad, but he also had connections to like all the powerful people. That's the fucking problem.
For Lactoid's professional health, right? We have to say we can't be sure. We can't be sure it's Israel, and Lactoid certainly is not sure, so he wouldn't say that. But for the rest,
your boy is sure though.
Yeah. Anyway, but we'll leave it alone. Let's just move on to the actual topic. But I will bring up.
Is that like an Israel term? I'm not familiar with.
He's sure, you know.
Yiddish. Yeah.
He's sure. That's all you need to know.
I will bring up the Texas floods, probably next week or so. Right. I got it written down. And I want to discuss it. I wasn't gonna make it a full topic because of well, I have reasons not to make it a full topic, but we'll go from here. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. This is every roundtable, which we do Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern. We got a great group of guests here. You'll have an option to introduce yourselves later on if you want. But we're going to just jump into the topic and go from there. And guys and gals, Admiral Gibbs, thank you for the resub. We are in a new month, right? This is the first stream of the new month. Consider supporting the channel, subs to the channel, gift bits, or gift subs. Help us out there in Twitch land. Twitch land has been pretty barren for a long time. So consider supporting us there, YouTube land. If you want to get a comment read consider using a super chat. We do read super chats, right? Corey has been better at not blocking me and reading super chats, so they've been coming out a lot faster.
You're welcome.
I had to negotiate with him, right? Sacrifice.
See, I'm
something.
noticing a trend though,
Only
Prime.
PMs.
The higher the super chat, the quicker you are to read it. So
I
maybe there's a
mean,
correlation there. I'm building a correlation there. Just let the correlation build.
I don't know what that might be about. You'll have to buy me an article backing up your claim.
No, we have to run the experiment. You have to have increasingly higher donations and track the time. That
We should
I'm just
try
saying,
that.
chat, run the experiment.
We should try that.
Let's see how fast he
what
reads
are
a
my
$100
response
super
times?
chat.
I mean, if you just fucking look at your YouTube chat, it already does that. The super chats stay up longer, and the more money they are, they go to the front of the list. I guess somebody doesn't check it that often.
we should still run the experiment.
We should run the experiment. Okay. But thank you all. Anyone who supported. Oh, I got 2 super chats. Holy shit. Okay. Oh, let's run the experiment. Okay. All right. So they came in at 9. I mean, this isn't right. Wait, what? I just looked at this. Literally just how did okay. All right. Anyway.
I think you're like in a different dimension. Something's going on in your dimension.
It's before
while he's attempting to grift, let me seriously grift, and let's get
9:30
had some good super chats tonight.
PM.
I'm not really sure
somehow
how you wanted me to
it's
reference and work in
PM
that
here,
question.
and I don't, okay.
These guys
When I
aren't
ask
doing
if there is a
anything, any
list,
kind of,
I mean, is there some sort of document or agglomeration of documents
I think that's
what would conclusively I guess you meant to say that would conclusively prove who was involved in child trafficking. I think we pretty much covered that in our response in our back and forth. But thank you, $10 Alexander win, and then $20 that happened to come in later, 9:41. So that was 13 minutes ago. Just to be
faster
super
than the
clear,
other one.
Yeah, it is. Just to be super clear, Epstein knew everyone. Most likely 99% of the world's billionaires are his clients or contacts. The question of whether they engaged in or knew the truth about his island is the list we all want. So, I mean, I agree that his contacts were wide, right? And I mean, hell, like he knew like the most prominent of the billionaires, right? Bill Gates, right? That happened. Let's never forget Bill Gates. Let's never forget Bill Clinton's not a billionaire, but he had a lot of fun. He was good friends with
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking is not a billionaire.
Stephen Hawking went to the island multiple times.
Holy shit! What the fuck did that look like? But anyway,
I mean, he's just there, like like what is he doing on the island?
I
guess he's just chilling. He's probably didn't go to the steps were an obstacle for him to go to the dungeon.
They're ramps.
Oh my god! I to be clear, I didn't.
I'm sure they got elevators, bro.
Scott did. I'm gonna leave that part alone. That'll be all Scott. But yeah, pretty fucking.
I'm a member of the disabled community, so I get to make fun of him.
You do that, friend. You do that. But absolutely, his contacts were like wide and far, right? And deep.
Michael Pagano, actually,
how many billionaires were involved?
Did say
I don't know. But I think what our friend Scott is helping us realize is that
documents on her desk, and I think she alluded
missed
to
so much if we're just looking at billionaires. We're just looking at that. Then we're missing all the other well-connected
I don't remember,
in powerful places or influential
problem is
thousandaires
who are very familiar with Lolita Express.
That doesn't. There's no
and both sides of the aisle. Right? There's not a Republican, not a Democrat thing.
I mean, people say stuff like that all the time. Oh, I've got
good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. So
yeah, that's why the list isn't out. If it was only half of the aisle, the list would have been out immediately.
100%.
Power.
You're exactly right, Scott. You're exactly
right.
Okay,
thank you.
But thank you, exactly, Alexander Wayne, for sending in those super chats.
Much like Israel, this is the thing the Dems and the Republicans seem to agree on: is we can't release this list.
Well, it's kind of funny how that works. But okay. So we'll get to the topic at hand. right? And that would be okay. Yes. Trump has recently started selling Victory 4547 perfume. That's the name. Victory 45-47 perfume and cologne. This comes soon after a Trump branded phone. In fact, there has been a long conga line of Trump merchandise just these last few months, let alone over the course of the decade since he originally became president. But his second term has featured a market uptick in the amount of items Trump has sold. Does any of this damage the dignity of the office of the presidency? Should we expect a certain level of decorum from our leaders? Or is the fact that a president is selling merch and innovation, could it be helpful to the image of the United States? Or does it not matter at all? So yeah, Trump selling more merch. There was also the Trump phone with the Trump um, uh, phone plan attached to that, and there is the Trump sneakers, right? Well, and I maintain those were actually pretty fly. Those actually look pretty good. I thought. And I would definitely take a pair of those. I wouldn't pay for them. Fuck that. But I'd take one.
I just want to see Prime at the cookout with the Trump sneakers.
That's a good point. That doesn't explain the deal. But in any case, yeah. So and then of course the Trump meme coin, right? Also the Melania meme coin. Let's not forget those as well. Trump has been pushing a lot of stuff here. Does that matter, right? Like, should this be a welcome evolution of the presidency, right? Or do you think this cheapens it? Does this make him look like some a local salesman from like some sort of like a secondhand store, right? Like, putting one of those commercials out on local TV, right? Like, come in and buy, like running a sale right now. Everything must go. Does this lower our standing? And I have a lot more questions about like how we should what lenses we should use to examine this later on, but we'll start with that. Let's go to our friend Lactoid, work our way around.
Hey everybody, my name's Lactoid. You can find me at Lactoid TV. We do a bunch of cool content. We just got done prior to this panel debating law stuff, so that happens occasionally. When it comes to Trump, we just criticized Trump a little bit for the whole Epstein thing. And I think that this is something that I don't really care nearly as much about. I think the worst thing that you could say that he did was endorse that Trump coin, and then like the Melania coin, and then apparently there was Barron coin, but that might just be a scam. I don't think that they actually
Yeah, I
ever
think
endorsed that.
someone else might have done that.
Yeah, somebody else did that, so I'm not going to attribute that to them at all. Trump phone, Trump shoes, Trump cologne. All of it to me, and by the way, apparently this is run by his kids. It's not actually run by him. He's not the one profiting off of it. He's an older guy. I mean, it's not really like he has that much of a big financial interest in this stuff. I think the Trump coin is like concerning, just because I think that it was a little bit perhaps of like a, whether he intended it to be or not, a bit of a rug, which is concerning. The shoes and the phone and the fragrance is kind of funny to me in some respects. It's pretty corny. The shoes are a little bit fly, but it is still corny. I don't think that it's not something that like makes me infuriated. It's something that I hear about, and I just have to laugh because like, really, a phone, right? People remember when people were making jokes about the Obama phone? Like, we have a Trump phone. And by the way, when the Trump phone first listed, it was bragging about how it was made in America. They took all that stuff down.
A bunch of other mistakes they corrected in.
Yeah, it no longer states that it's made in America. Yeah, I don't know. If you want to buy memorabilia for the president, from the president, this is, I think, ultimately what this is. I don't think it's a major deal. It is corny, though. It doesn't look the best. But, I mean, what are you going to do?
Okay, thanks so much, friend. Let's go to Scott.
First and foremost, I would like to say that fuck the dignity of the presidency. Like, I could care less. None of them have been dignified except for maybe maybe George Washington to a certain extent, and obviously by today's standards not, but like by those standards then maybe. I mean, like from the very beginning, like Adams and Thomas Jefferson were, running op-eds calling the other people like, atheists that like, cheat and do all and like, rape women and all kinds of nonsense. There's never been any dignity in the office of the presidency. I will say though that because we are a constitutional republic as opposed to a constitutional monarchy, it does come with a certain weakness culturally speaking, which is many constitutional monarchies are able to separate the kind of like the cultural leader you know, of their people versus the political leader of their people, right? You look at the UK and, the tabloids can look at the pomp of the royal family and the decrees, but they're essentially defanged in terms of power. I mean, obviously the UK king, the king has like some limited veto powers in the House of Lords, but like they don't really exercise them mostly out of tradition. And so, that is something that kind of matters a little bit more to America, but like this guy signs ladies' tits and was a reality TV star and may or may not have walked in on fucking 16-year-olds in beauty pageants and got in trouble for saying he grabs
was
girls
alleged.
by the pussy, and I said may have in locker room talk, like the idea that like any one thing can be isolated. Like the dude is a sleazeball. I think everybody recognizes that, conservative or liberal. I will say though that this specific thing of like selling merch is probably the least egregious way of making money as a president. Like when we compare it to like Hunter Biden, who has no expertise working for Burisma and using black and vetch contracts
And his art.
to build biolabs in in Ukraine, or getting millions of dollars in gifts for connections with the Chinese and like that shit to me is a lot. Or Kushner and his deals with Carney and Canada that nobody fucking talks about, or Kushner and his deals with Saudi princes and things like those things to me are far more concerning than a guy uses his popularity to sell merch to people voluntarily and it's somehow wrong because he's the president. Like it's just so far lit down. Like I don't even see anything wrong with that. Like it's one of the, like I think the presidency sucks. I think the fact that he's a president is wrong. But yeah, I don't give a fuck that he sells cologne or stupid shoes and like dumb fat people in Appalachia that like have like 2 stores within 150 miles of them go on to Amazon to order fucking golden sneakers and be like, I got my Trump shoes. Like I just don't care. Like fucking have at it, man.
Thank you. Our friend Corey.
Well, to, I guess, Scott's point in terms of like dignity, I think, more or less, from my perspective, like whatever, how much dignity is actually left in the office of the President of the United States, where, like also to sort of Blackboy's point, I see it also as essentially whatever, at the very least in poor taste or whatever, tasteless. But that, at least in my mind, also that's par for the course for Trump. Like, does anybody remember like Trump steaks, like the best steaks ever? Trump ice, the best water ever. Trump vodka, all of these are just like relics of the past.
He's a rapper, yeah.
And Trump University, obviously there was that whole fiasco there, and so like yes, it makes sense. Although I guess it's technically less connected with him, but like at the end of the day. Like, do I think this should be happening? No. Do I think it's good that a politician is actually doing that, or let's say is connected to that? No. But unfortunately, like, I don't know that you can legislate against it, or I'll leave that to Lactoid's expertise because it's like I think, as he said, it's not directly connected with it. You could always find a loophole when you exert enough effort, and Trump is, actually good at finding loopholes and pushing norms as far as possible. As in, like, yes. Laws are always going to be flawed. We, at the end of the day, we rely on overall norms and somewhat of an honor system. You're never just going to legislate behavior. And like, yeah, this is bad, but I don't know what you can do about it. I'll leave it there for now.
Ali.
Do I think it's like morally bad or like weird that even if he was like directly connected to selling it? I guess not. I do think it's weird, but I think it's more weird from the people who purchase the merch, right? Like I remember when the Obama phones were crazy, but I was in Detroit. There was Obama gas stations. Right, there were gas stations dedicated. It's strange. I don't think you're supposed to idolize the president in this way, right? The person's supposed to like they're a public servant. They're supposed to be at least, and then like you voting for them. I don't feel like we should be celebritizing these people. Like we should kind of just hold them to like certain standards and hold them to account for certain things. Go do your job. You're not meant to be a celebrity. Like I don't like the fact that Trump is acting like a social media influencer, and like the White House Twitter page is posting like these random memes and like the weird Trump lo-fi. Like I don't like that shit. It feels like we're getting more towards idiocracy. So I guess like I don't want it to happen, but my question goes more towards the people who like purchase the merch. Like why are we idolizing this person, right? Like if it, like unless you believe they're actually like better than you, right? I don't understand like this die-hard fanaticism towards like a president who is just once again an elected public servant.
Thank you. Let's go to our friend Gibbs.
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Admiral Gibbs. You can find me everywhere as Admiral Gibbs. I just want to briefly say one thing about Texas floods, since I know we're not talking about it. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a pretty in-depth coverage of it. I have like about 30 minutes or so. We might cut it down some. A video from like areas associated with it that I don't think a lot of people in the debates here are going to have, just because I have a lot of friends that live locally and I've dealt with this. And I have in my own background, I have worked in Haiti and several other countries in like AIDS work and building supplies and relief work after natural disasters, and as well as during Hurricane Harvey and living through several hurricanes here in Texas. During Harvey, I worked with FEMA, the Cajun Navy, and several mom and pop organizations kind of just to help out. So we're going to get into it tomorrow and go pretty in depth tomorrow at 7:30. So if y'all are interested in what really happened with the Texas floods, and you want like some actual deep insight on it, then check it out tomorrow. It's going to be pretty good, I think. As for this shit, yeah, I have all sorts of Trump merch. I love it. So I'm glad that Ali said why we are fetishizing it. It's all bad and all that good shit. Because here we go. We got all sorts of hats. Trump was right about everything. I got knockoff Trump shoes. We went to Houston this weekend, and I stopped in front of the Trump burger place. It was actually not bad. We got the Trump shirts. Really, I'm not MAGA. I just buy them because, bro, just seeing people on these panels react whenever they say something, they just put it on there. They lose all credibility as debater. I can just put a MAGA hat on and watch them just crumble into seething rage and not be able to make a point. And it's really funny that Ali has made this a thing, right? You said with this recently, where about, oh, well, what does it say about these people? I don't know that some people might be true blue believers, but I gotta say, just seeing the TDS like triggered immediately upon this is worth every penny I've ever spent on any piece of Trump gear. It's instant and it's so satisfying. So there's a lot of that. So I think it's based. Also, I think that America is the land of capitalism, and we should just embrace capitalism at all levels. So I'm pretty excited the government's getting into it. Maybe some of this money can go towards shit that is actually supposed to, or maybe when I actually supposed to, I mean the people that are doing it and making a shitload of money. That's who I'm talking about. Like at least they're making an honest product one way or another versus all these people living on the government dime. I'm a big fan of it. I think we need more of this.
Okay, let's go to our friend LSP, who hasn't been on the channel for quite a long time, probably like 2 years or so. But LSP, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Yeah, I think like the responses I'm hearing to this is like pretty telling. The conservative movement, MAGA, I should say, MAGA in this country, like moves in one and two directions. Either Trump does something and it's based because it triggers the libs. I could just put on this hat and watch everybody crumble down and LOL, it's funny. Or I can't defend it, in which case I don't give a shit. It's not a big deal. It doesn't even matter. But it's never like a naked condemnation. So try to picture like the best presidents that this country's ever had, most dignified presidents. You think George Washington, you might think Abraham Lincoln, Jimmy Carter. Like, could you imagine them selling merchants? Jimmy Carter sold his peanut farm because he didn't want the appearance of a conflict of interest while he was president of the United States. We're supposed to hold people in the office of the president to a higher standard. You are not supposed to use the office of the president to enrich yourselves. That goes without saying. And it's hard to take conservatives seriously on pretty much anything because it's always a hypocrisy. When you look at how they react to Hillary Clinton giving speeches to like Merrill Lynch or Fidelity, or I don't remember which banks she was talking to, or Hunter Biden working at Burisma, and it's like, wow, that's pay to play kind of. I'm sorry, play to get paid. Yeah, you know what I mean. Every word they say is just hollow and vapid. Like clearly they're holding two different standards. And it seems obvious to me that the office of the president isn't supposed to be used this way. It opens the door for massive amounts of corruption. It removes dignity from the office of the president of the United States. You know, this isn't McDonald's. This is the supposed to be the freest, most powerful country in the world. Although it's a little hard to recognize that these days. And more than that, like it basically makes it so that future presidents can use this office in ways that are undignified and potentially corrupt as well. And there is a way to fix this. I'm sorry, Corey, but there are ways to deal with this, right? Our country needs to reinstitute campaign finance laws. Our country needs to update the Hatch Act. We need to update legislation so that we stop people from using the offices in inappropriate ways. The meme coin, that was just plain inappropriate. And never mind the numerous bits of merch that Trump's been selling while in office. This presidency has shown he will accept jets from corrupt countries that fund terror groups, right? There are no standards anymore. The standards on the fucking floor. And I'd just like to get back to a simpler time where we had a Jimmy Carter who would sell his farm, who would divest himself, and not in some show thing like Trump did in his first term with a bunch of empty boxes, but like actually like commit to working for the American people and not using the office as a way of getting your rich friends to support you in power and using it to enrich yourself. Like the purpose of government is to enrich us. It is to make our lives better. It is to make our lives wealthier. It's right. You were supposed to use the resources of the people collectively in ways that are responsible. The office of the presidency is not supposed to be Walmart. Anyway, that's what I got. Thank you.
Thank you, LSP. Really appreciate that. And finally, our friend Grid.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me again. I know I can be a little aggressive, so I appreciate it. Listen, so first of all, I have the greatest debate show, Bloodsport debate show, Friday nights, 7-minute rounds, 1v1, loser walks. You can win money doing it, and it's a good time. So come check it out, and we'll have a great time. It's called the Signal Syndicate. And it's easy for me. It's easy to find me. As far as Trump merch, I've never actually bought any Trump merch. I do, however, have this cool hat that I got from Ted Nugent, signed, of course, and that was awesome. And that's basically the only merch I've ever bought. However, there's a couple of things here that we just really got to look at. And first of all, Trump's been a brand since the 70s. The Trump Organization is a brand. The Trump Hotel is a fucking brand. He has been a brand. His name has been a brand longer than most of you people have been alive. And that's interesting that we have a problem with that. That that people, his kids, I guess. I don't think any of his uncles or anything or aunts or anybody else are involved in it. I think it's just his kids. His family makes money off of the fame and fortune that their father has accrued. I don't see a problem with that at all, actually. And I actually don't have a problem with any of it. Now the interesting thing is that LSP over here brought up Jimmy Carter as being an example of what a president should be. Well, that's interesting because Carter ran his peanut farm into the ground. He hated being a peanut farmer and he sold it because he had to sell it. Also, Carter's brother sold Billy Beer out of the White House. The corporate address of Billy Beer was 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So I don't know what to tell you here, guys, but it doesn't seem like Trump's that bad. Now, the meme coin, look, I got to be honest with you. All of these celebrities get fucked on these meme coins. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They all get jacked around by people who promise them the moon and then do a rug pull or whatever. I actually don't. I would never do that. And unfortunately, Trump lent his name to it. And but I mean, I have a Trump tie. I guess that's the most merch I've had. Ivanka's had a brand since the late 90s, I think, maybe the early 2000s, where she sold high-end fashion. I don't know if it still exists. But this is not unusual, and I don't think it cheapens the presidency. And I think that really, I just don't see where the cheapness, the idea of cheapening it comes from. Andrew Jackson shot a man on the White House lawn. Doesn't get much more presidential than that. And then maybe that's what we should really bring back. That's how we should solve. That's how presidents should solve the Pam Bondi and Kash Patel just straight up duel on the White House on the Rose Lawn. Let's make it happen, Captain. I like history. Let's get back to it. Let's get into this argument.
Okay. Yeah, open up.
I have a couple questions. LSP. I guess I'm guessing you probably don't like put me in the same box as like a typical conservative in terms of like
put
the
you somewhere
defending
else.
of Trump.
Yeah,
I mean,
somewhere else.
that's fair. Like your condemnation of you were like people on this panel, and I'm like,
I meant MAGA
I don't care
specifically.
because yeah, and that's fair. I'm trying to. You made a comparison in your opening between Hillary Clinton and pay to play speeches to Merrill Lynch and other banking industry. I'm assuming you're also probably talking about the bill. Oh God, what is their foundation?
The Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, I don't know why my brain kept wanting to say Bill and Melinda Gates. I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're whether or not that corruption can be proved, etc. But you see how these are not analogous, right? Like how giving speeches to powerful people and getting large sums of money with the, kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, whether it can be proven or not. Right. Let's say it's true that they are, influenced by that money, even passively, in terms of their power and their position and their ability to connect with other elites and et cetera. You can see how that's different than selling merch to people that are dumb and want to buy fucking, a bunch of Trump hats, right? These are clearly different things. Why did you compare those things as if they're the same thing?
So I'll grant you that in some ways they're disanalogous, and in some ways they are analogous. Ways they are disanalogous is that Hillary Clinton was never president, and neither was Hunter Biden. But ways they are analogous is that a lot of people showed mistrust towards Hunter Biden and Hillary Clinton because they saw them as being beholden to moneyed interests rather than the interests of the American people with the offices they were seeking. Well, except for Hunter Biden, but you know what I mean.
Okay.
But if they're that fear that they're going to be, more devoted to a certain bottom line rather than the interests of the American people, seem to be borne out doubly in hypocritical ways with the Trump administration. We got MAGA Republicans only a few years ago booing at the idea that they would ever cut Medicaid or Medicare at the State of the Union right before they'd pass a massive tax cut for the wealthy and cut Medicaid for something like 10 million Americans. It seems
that
to
doesn't
me
have anything
like
to do with the question though. Right.
My I already explained. I
said, how are they analogous and how are they disanalogous? And then you went with a cheap shot of they're not president, right? Which is obviously that's not.
I mean, Trump himself doesn't own these products either.
Of power, right?
They're disanalogous because they were never president, and they're analogous because they're both represent moneyed interests.
Okay, but the idea is that Trump would be too beholden to his voter base versus Hillary Clinton would be too beholden to the wealthy elite, corporate elite, and the bankers. How is that the same fucking thing? That's insane.
The issue is that Trump is beholden to moneyed interests. So, for example, his biggest donor being Elon Musk, could donate something like $270 million, gets to head a federal agency that he has absolutely no qualifications for, and basically
Hold on. Let's look at that.
I'm doing the questioning here. I'm doing the questioning here.
You've asked
I'm doing the questioning here.
I'm asking the questions.
I'm
asking the questions, actually.
Hold on. I'm asking the question.
Stop being a patsy.
I'm not being a patsy
that helps the left.
Listen, I'm asking the question.
Whether you're doing it on purpose or not?
LSP,
Stop.
I am
Stop.
asking the questions.
Stop.
LSP,
Stop.
you
Stop.
just made the
Stop.
argument. You just made the
Stop.
argument. I'm gonna ask.
Stop.
Okay.
Admiral
I'm gonna
Gibbs.
ask the question.
Stop.
I'm asking this question. I
Admiral
don't care what
Gibbs.
you say.
Admiral
I don't care
Gibbs.
what you say.
I'm
I'm
doing
asking
a line of
Guys,
questioning,
cool.
and you
I'm
are
gonna ask this
interrupting
question.
me.
You
Just
can go.
stop
You
it
can go with.
from
You
being
have
Gibbs
30
is doing
minutes.
a line of
Question.
something
It's
else.
30 minutes of
Like,
questions. I'm asking one
you
question.
are
and you
doing
can
nothing
continue.
but
You
helping the
are
left
cool.
right
I
now.
don't care. I'm asking the
You
question.
are-
I don't
you
care
are-
what you say, Damien.
Okay,
Listen, here's the question,
You are,
LSP.
you are
LSP,
again. So I'm
you just
Oh,
said
in a
hold
line
on.
of questioning.
You just
Okay,
said
hold
Elon
on,
Musk
hold
is a
on,
good
hold on,
example of this.
Stop it,
You
Admiral
said yes.
Gibbs.
You said
Admiral
Elon Musk
Gibbs.
is a good example.
Hey guys.
Admiral
And now
Gibbs, please.
Elon Musk and Trump are
Yes,
not
I
on
can
the
hear your
finish my
question.
line of
I can
Well,
hear you,
questioning.
Gibbs.
what? How does that logic pan out?
I'm going to
guys,
finish
can you
my
repeat
Can he
line
still
of
be
questioning,
beholden
Admiral
to him
Gibbs.
when Elon is
Admiral
out?
Gibbs.
of the-
Hey.
Admiral Gibbs.
Listen, you asked 30 questions already, bro. Like I'm asking
I
one.
didn't
you
ask
go
30
back to your
questions. I asked 2 questions,
Yeah, it's been
which
30
was the
minutes.
same
I don't
question
care. Like,
repeated, and I
LSP,
didn't
you
get
just
the
answer that
question
question.
He
answered.
doesn't
Like,
care.
you go
So
back to that.
again, you are doing nothing but helping the
Listen,
left
you
right
bitched
now.
at Corey and Prime when you came in that nobody cared about. I don't care what your question is. I'm asking mine, and then you can go back to yours. Cool,
Right.
LSP.
You're being
back
a fucking
to yours.
patsy
I
right
guess
now, and
so.
that's why
Listen,
Prime's not
just-
moderating you.
Listen,
Because
I
you're
guess
making
I'm
the
being a
right look
patsy.
bad.
I guess no, I'm not making it look
Because
bad.
why stop your
why
enemy
gotta be this
when
shit?
they're hurting
Okay.
themselves?
Cool, bro.
Hey,
The
You're
wait,
only
making
person
the
that
right
is
look
you.
bad right now.
You just
You're
look,
making
you,
MAGA and
you look like an
conservatives and
asshole.
right
You look like an
people
asshole
Hey, guys.
because you're just
stupid.
like it's got to be the
Guys,
look
Fabian
crazy.
show.
Okay,
Listen, it's not always got to be the Fabian
please,
show. We just ask a quick question, and I want him to
It's
answer.
not the
How
Fabian
after
show.
all
I have
this,
no problem
all
being
this money
quiet.
got
I'm going
donated,
to finish
and
my
that
line of
guy's not
questioning.
out of the administration.
Okay,
How does it
all
show
right.
he's beholden to him
Hey,
when he's not
knock
out?
it
What's the
off.
logic
Hey,
there?
everyone, shut up. Oh my
Mhm.
god. Now we're having all fun.
Wait,
but
I
now
have a
people are-
question. Prime, I
making
have a
ac-
question.
So do I.
Okay,
After
sorry.
him. Yeah.
Now we
I
have
do
now
not
all
have a
people
question.
making accusations about Prime now, right? It was funny for me at first, and that's why I wanted to let it play out because it was
I mean,
hilarious.
It's
But
just like funny how
now,
some
as
people
a
can ask 45
consequence-
minutes of question. I ask one,
I know that-
and suddenly,
I-
I'm a patsy. Listen,
I know that-
you know what's a
I-
patsy?
I-
Hold on,
I-
you know what's a
I-
patsy?
I don't
Spending
think you're a
45
patsy.
minutes talking about boring. I know you don't. You know what's being a patsy? Spending about
I'm not saying you're
45 minutes
bought and
on
sold
boring.
one. I'm saying that's how you're asking.
I know you are, but what
That's how
I'm
you're
saying
asking.
right now is I'm asking a direct question to a comment he made really quickly, and you're sitting here spurging out, wanting to go like 30 minutes down,
I'm
like
not
trying to
spurging
talk.
out.
Nobody
You're
wants to know
literally
about that.
spurging.
Nobody wants to know about that. Well, we want direct
You
questions
might be the
quickly.
This
you
is
know,
awesome,
you
guys.
must
It
have
really
dated
is.
all of my ex-girlfriends before me because it's
You might
somehow every
have.
woman I
I mean,
find
close.
their ex-boyfriend
Probably.
was a narcissist, but you seem
I
to be
am a
such a
narcissist.
fucking pro at gaslighting right now by
I'm very
claiming
good at that,
I'm
too.
the one spurging out. It
You
must
are
have been
spurting.
you.
I mean,
I
you
was
literally wouldn't let me
looking
ask
for
a two. That's
I
a
was
one
looking
sentence
for,
question.
for these magical
Even though-
gaslighting narcissists.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
Shush.
I can give you
Okay,
some. I can give you.
Okay,
Shush.
okay,
Did you just reverse
Right.
burn
Shush.
yourself by saying
I
that
will-
Gibbs fucked all your exes?
okay.
Yeah, I don't care. It's funny.
Okay.
You think
okay,
I
all right.
only dated virgins?
It's listen, and I'm okay with being good at gaslighting. It's
Okay.
fine.
Your
Guys.
Lebanese was showing at the time.
Guys, let's move on.
Mhm.
Okay, please. So, we should let Scott like ask us one last question and then move on because we do have to move on. But we got a limited amount of time here, right? So
Yeah. So
we'll
I
wrap
would
it up. We'll go to Gibbs afterwards.
I'll
Gibbs will be
reframe-
next. Okay.
I'll reframe the question that you threw a bunch of jabs in and tried to run away from twice because you're a fucking coward, LSP. So if you would like to have some intellectual honesty, I'll reframe it for the third time and maybe you can get it. How is
I answered your question
that-
directly, motherfucker. But okay, go ahead and reframe it. Go for it.
So you answered it by saying by adding
Ask your
in
question.
new elements.
Ask your
Yeah,
question.
LSP.
Ask
LSP,
your question.
I know you got bodied, and I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. So let me go ahead and do that. All right.
What,
So,
all 4 inches of you?
when-
Come on,
when-
ask.
Sure, brother. That's absolutely. I'm little baby dick over here.
I stun locked
Hold
you.
your
Will you
feet to
just
the
ask your
fire.
question?
Big
Jesus.
penis,
So-
actually. My penis is huge.
So
Mine's like 10 inches wide, 2 inches long. Cheese.
Any year now, Scott.
Please.
yeah, I'm
Scott,
sure.
go ahead.
So again, when I asked you about how it's how it is disanalogous, how it is analogous, because I'm making the claim that it's disanalogous. You then shifted the conversation away from the question over to Elon Musk and to other things. Now, I was very clear in my opening statement that situations like Jared Kushner and his connections with Carney and his connections with, doing work on behalf of the president, but not in an official capacity in the Middle East are good examples of that corruption. But specifically, how is it that you can compare as if they are two like things? the moneyed interests of bankers and the elite being beholden to people such as Hillary Clinton versus selling shoes to the American public? Please be honest for once and answer this question actually, as opposed to dodging.
Answer. He's going to answer however he's going to do it, and then after that, we have to go to our friend Gibbs, and then Corey.
Yeah, third time's the charm. I'm hoping the third time he'll answer the question.
Yeah, I hope the third time you listen, because I feel like I've answered this the same way already, but I'll do it again. It shows that he's beholden to moneyed interests. It doesn't really matter where the money's coming from. His priorities are getting money. His priority is not in service to the American people through the office he occupies. The priority of his office is to enrich himself. Does that answer your question for the third time?
Yeah.
Okay. So we gotta go to Gibbs.
So you brought up money interest, and I then you use the example of Elon Musk, right? And he comes in and he's appointed after however many millions he donated. You know, and I don't want to do the whole conspiracy thing. Or I'll let Grant or somebody else do this, where they talk about all the money spent by the Democratic Party on Kamala. But like, he spent an X amount of money. He gets a cabinet position, right? And in something most people, I know Prime won't like this, agree with this, but what many people would say is an area of expertise, which would be efficiency and trying to like clean up the waste. Now that's arguable. I know Prime is going to disagree with that. And then after their interest didn't lie, Trump kicked them out. Wouldn't this be an example of the opposite? What you're saying? This guy paid a bunch of money and then lost his cabinet position because he wasn't going to follow through with the principles of the administration. Doesn't that disprove everything you're saying with that example alone?
No, I don't think so. I think he used the office to the extent he wanted to with the money he got. So I mean, he got Elon Musk there to carry out the initiatives through Doge that he wanted to carry it out. After Elon Musk stopped supporting Trump, there's not really much incentive for Trump to support Elon Musk the other way, especially if Elon Musk is going to try to sink Trump's legislative agenda. It doesn't really matter what the moneyed interests are at that point. It's a matter of what.
So it doesn't matter.
Wait. What is that legislative agenda, Gibbs?
Well, hey,
tax
listen,
cuts for?
You're openly admitted the minute that.
Hang on, Gibbs, please answer my question.
Well, hold on. I am answering your question. I'm asking you just to clarify. You're right there admitting that the minute, which was my point at the beginning here, that once their interest didn't align, Trump, it doesn't matter how much money he keeps spending, even if it's on other candidates, his American version, he still cut ties with them. That's what you're admitting, right?
Donald Trump's only interests are not moneyed interests. I'm not making that claim. Gibbs, what was that piece of legislation that Elon Musk didn't support? Where did the majority of those tax savings go?
Yeah, I don't know. You tell me. Where
to the wealthy, to moneyed interests. Thank you.
I see. Okay. So that doesn't have to do with
wait. Why are you saying Gibbs? Did they or did they not?
Well, because even if that's true, even if that's true,
outlined the MAGA playbook earlier.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, hold on.
Yeah, seriously.
Hold on. He's talking about two things out of the two sides of his mouth right here. He goes, "Oh, well, Elon, moneyed interest, one of these things. Oh, but then this big beautiful bill comes along and is giving money to other people. Elon's still saying no." Like, I don't want this, yada, yada. And guess what? He didn't keep his cabinet position. So it looks like the moneyed interest that got him elected, according to y'all, Twitter, buying Twitter and him doing all this stuff, still wasn't enough that keep him in power. So it looks like he's not beholden. It looks like he's not beholden to any money interest in, because he goes against his donors all the time. What's your argument to that?
Hey, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, I'll just repeat the same thing. You don't have a response to what I said the first time.
You don't have a response to that.
Okay. Did you want my answer or not?
Fabian's right. You just did not answer the question.
Okay. Sure, whatever.
Go ahead, answer. I'll respond to it. I think the bill itself is chock full of gifts to his donors, right? To Amazon, to Meta, to literally everyone who had stood behind him during the inauguration, right? Elon's problems, one of his issues, he's got lots of issues. Elon's problem is the removal of or non-inclusion of the
Doge cuts that they weren't.
No, not the Doge cuts specifically.
The EV
talking about the Tesla cuts, right? Like the
EV. Yes,
that's a lie. That's a lie. Hold on, I have to debunk that. He has been openly against since like 2018 against the EV subsidies in any capacity.
Seems to be true.
He has been actively saying for years and years, I do not want EV subsidies. They fuck up the market. They are a reason that my competitors will be able to gain free money from bad products. And I think he's been against EV subsidies.
Elon was his advisor
over and over and over again, long before he ever campaigned for Trump.
Except
Trump was the one that made that that claim.
And Elon was his
That's-
advisor on that
Okay,
stuff.
I have issues.
No,
with
that,
but
that
I'm
was a
not-
lie smeared by Trump and like the super Trump MAGA people. Like it's just not
Trump
true.
wouldn't lie.
Yeah, but you also have a different.
I have some objections there, but
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it alone.
And you're also making a different point than what LSP was making. Brian.
The
Here's
point
my
is, though,
point.
he
Yes.
did get my understanding is SpaceX and Blue Origin got some sort of cuts, some sort of tax incentive or whatever through the bill. So we did get something out of it. And then just being rich, he got lots out of it. But
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's
yeah.
1,100 pages of pork. Everybody with a few extra zeros in their bank account got something out of it.
so,
didn't.
Yeah, but that's a different that's a different point than what LSP is making. It's I mean, totally different. And I think that's why.
Wait, what was my point, Gibbs?
I mean, your point here is you're trying to say one money interest is equal to all these money interests, and my point is that whenever
I never said anything like that.
Well, yeah,
Gibbs.
yeah, basically you have. I'm summarizing because your point was terrible. So the point that's actually matters here is
No, you're just straw manning, but okay.
I mean,
Gibbs is the
I'm
king.
just stating facts. You're over here making like round circular arguments.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
sure his
you
sandcastle is
argued-
very grand.
You literally argued Jimmy Carter in like with a straight face in the beginning of this. Like I don't want to be a dick, but I couldn't take you seriously after that.
Well, I
and
mean,
now, and then I tried giving you. the
Believe me,
benefit of the
Gibbs,
doubt
it
when you
hurts me
argued.
that you don't take me seriously.
I know. I mean, when
Please,
I should,
Gibbs, whatever you do, take me seriously.
I'm just saying, when I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt with Fabian, but then you couldn't answer a direct question. You went, well, but over here, and this is different than here.
Well,
Like, I mean, it just.
I
What
did.
about
I
he was trying-
answered that third
What
question
about-
like
what
3
LSP was
times.
trying to say is that like he's the point of Trump is being in office is to make money. It's a money making profit center.
Don't
And that,
church
like,
it up for him,
doesn't have-
Prime.
Yeah,
He couldn't
I mean,
answer
that's
it.
what
I'm trying to
I'm
help.
not,
I watched you don't answer as I watched you be talking about how going on. It was
repeating what he
terrible.
was saying in slightly different words, but only slightly different words. And that it doesn't matter where the money comes from. So yes, like Elon was a donor, but he had a whole bunch of other donors to answer for, right? And he has delivered for them. He's delivered for Miriam Adelson, right? Who gave him, I believe, 250 or 150 million dollars. I forget how much was it. An absurd amount of money. And he delivered in terms of Israel, right, in the genocide. He's delivered for Meta. He's
Yeah,
delivered
so
for
it
Google.
does
He's
matter
delivered
where
for
the money comes
Blue
from all
Origin.
of a sudden, right?
No, I don't understand why.
You
I'm
can't
looking
have your
confused.
cake and eat it too. That
I
it
don't-
doesn't matter where the money comes from if you're there to
I
get
rest
rich.
my
It's a
case.
problem, and then
don't understand.
begin talking about how it matters where the money comes from because that money buys influence. That's what made the
What?
original analogy disanalogous. That's
I
the
don't
problem,
know.
right? Because we
Okay,
want
I
to
don't
talk
know
about
about
just
that.
being rich in general. Jimmy Carter died with a net worth of $10 million, and he got a fuck ton of USAID money to the Carter Foundation or the Carter.
Hold on, sorry.
the Carter
How does
Center.
that-
Hey,
So
but Jimmy
I'm not-
Carter,
I
paragon
don't know
of
about the
dignity.
analogy. Sorry,
Maybe this is a
gotta-
point. This is a point that maybe can explain what Scott is arguing, perhaps, because what the argument is like, okay, so like Trump is selling phones, and Trump is selling hats, and Trump is selling fragrances, and he's selling that to his base, and so the criticism is he's using the presidency to get rich, but the question is, what's the mechanism? Is the mechanism that the people love him so much that they're buying his products? Does that mechanism have the same kind of concerns or pitfalls as
okay.
these like shadowy donors dumped a fuck ton of money into his pocket
Yes.
and now secretly control him, as opposed to he has a bunch of fans that bought his fan club shit?
No, hold on. But these are two different. Sorry, maybe
Exactly.
and
Yes,
They
they're two
are.
different
Maybe I'm
things.
making-
Yes.
maybe
very
I'm
That's the
making-
point.
So I'm going to respond to that, and maybe I'm making a mistake and not a misunderstanding. So help me out here, right? So it sounds like there's different things. So I agree with LSP. I don't know about the analogy thing, right? I didn't follow that part. So so put that aside, right? But I agree with LSP that Trump is there to make money. Period. To make money.
Period.
Yeah.
That's a different. That's a
Period.
different
He's
debate.
there to
Sorry,
save.
But
You
obviously,
think he's there to
excuse me.
save the country?
I
Exclamation
disagree, but
point.
that's fine.
Exclamation point. He's there to make money, right? So there's that. But
He could have made a lot more money other ways, but fair enough.
Didn't
That's
his
your
net worth
opinion.
go
I can't
down?
say
Okay.
that your belief is wrong.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
in this
sure.
regard, like
Okay.
you believe
Okay.
that. That's fine.
Sure. Okay. So he's there to make money. He is beholden to a series of interest who gave him money. Not to be beholden to them because he's out of office after this. So I'm not sure if he needs their money afterwards, right? They're not going to keep enriching them. So I'm not sure how.
No, that's the secret. The shady shit more often than not happens after the presidency, not during.
Well, we will see. We'll see. But anyway, right? In any case, right? There's a certain people who gave him a fuck ton of money. The BBB, right, was a deliverance for that amount, for a whole list of individuals who assist him in organizations. Okay,
but it just doesn't have anything to do with him selling cologne or shoes.
Right? Yeah, sure, fair. But and now then I will agree with you. That's a separate thing, but that ties in to the other claim that he's there to make money. Period. Right. So this is simply a second path to make money. Now he's not beholden to these individuals, right? Like maybe if your objection to me is saying that, well, it matters where the money is coming from because he has different reactions depending on where the money is coming from. Well, yeah, I guess I agree, right? He's getting small amounts of money from a lot of different people, right? By selling his shit. And then he's getting a lot of money from a small amount of people, right? Through campaigning and other methods. And then
I'll olive branch you here, right? Like you and LSP, right? Like I agree that you can have a legitimate. I don't think it's legitimate because I'm an anarchist. I don't give a fuck about the presidency, but I understand internal critique from your position that someone is there selling merch to make money is like in part a distraction or even a potential bias from making the decisions that the president needs to make, right? My original contention was comparing that to Hillary Clinton giving $2 million speeches to Merrill Lynch and him selling sneakers is the same thing when clearly they're not the same thing, because where that money is coming from and what that money buys is inferred to be very different. Now you could say that that she was not influenced by that, and like they just really fucking love her speeches at Merrill Lynch, and like they get a big draw of excitement because these people are so fucking white bread that just seeing Hillary Clinton just brings tears to their eyes and makes them go make more money for Merrill Lynch because they get back in the cubicle and fucking in the trenches. But nobody fucking believes that.
So let's go to Corey, a lactoid, Grid, and then Ali.
Yeah, a couple things. I want to point something out and then consult Lactoid's legal expertise and mine. One thing I want to point out is, okay, so a little bit, I guess, meta. So let's say in true Grid fashion or typical Grid fashion, I think he's either misinformed or lying. Where I'm going to take issue with the claim of the Billy Beer. Does anybody remember his claim of 9 million illegals in New York and how off he was on that? Not to mention his claim of the swimming pools of feces that were running through New York as well, where he was wildly off on that. He couldn't back it up, and he was off by a factor of many-fold. And I think it's, as far as I can tell, unless he wants to provide me a source, I think the claim of Jimmy Carter's brother selling Billy Beer or the corporate headquarters being the White House is blatantly false. But I'm willing to be fact-checked on that. So just another, let's say, either a lie or misinformation from Grid. Now, Lactoid. I think it was brought up by LSP that potentially that this could be legislated against. Let's say the Hatch Act or campaign finance reform. In your opinion, or by your estimation, is there any sort of like realistic or any sort of passable legislation that you can conceive of that would prevent this?
I don't know, and I'm not. Again, I don't know if this is the kind of situation that I would have that much concern about, because
I understand that perspective. I'm just trying to.
Yeah. I mean, you could always figure out some kind of legislation, but part of the problem is like,
wouldn't you need proof that he
most
was,
of this is owned by
children in that?
That's the problem. Most of this is not even owned by him; it's owned by his kids. When you look at Trump's net worth over time, he was actually going down pretty significantly following his run from 2016. So 2016, he won the presidency. He going into 2017, his net worth just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, and really it only starts to spike up again once Trump Media, which owns True Social, goes public, because a lot of people invested in that.
Lactoid, can I ask a question? Like, it's kind of on Corey's question. I want to compound this.
Okay.
To make it like more relevant, can we just use the meme coin example? The president selling a speculative asset that people buy, where he then offers them a dinner with the president of the United States to boost its value. Like, is that something that should be legislated against or be outlawed? Like, it seems to represent a conflict of interest and clear pay to play.
I said from the beginning, I think the meme coin is the most egregious example that you could probably find. I think everything else is not super concerning to me. The meme coin specifically is concerning to me just because it is it's a speculative asset that is sold as an investment, really, and it was marketed towards a large group of unsophisticated investors, which feels like very scummy, I think. In terms of criminalizing it, I mean, again, you could come up with some kind of law to say presidents can't do that, but again,
family.
Like when I see Bernie Sanders, for example, like show up on screen and he says, "I am asking you once more, please donate this," and he brags about how he's getting all these donations from like the people.
Bernie Sanders was never president.
Well, I understand, but he ran for president. When I look at Donald Trump and he's like, again, marketing his fan club shit to all of his fans, he is selling himself to the people. And yeah, like in some cases, the money's going directly to his kids, through, I guess not directly, but to the foundation run by his kids. When it comes to True Social, if they're investing in Trump Media, he owns significant parts of that. So obviously he's profiting from that as well. But the question is like, do we just think that profiting? Here's the question: is profiting?
Wait, before you get to that question, can I just get the answer to mine? Like, should it be illegal? You're president. Somebody gives you a bill that says we're going to outlaw future presidents from having meme coins and offering private dinners. Do you sign that law?
Definitely not offering private dinners. I mean,
okay, so it should be illegal.
To the people. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Should it be illegal or not illegal for the president to sell a meme coin or not?
I think it's scummy. I don't see a way to make it illegal without infringing upon a whole bunch of shit.
No, that's not what he asked. Should it be? Not.
Well, I just said I don't see a way to make it illegal.
No, but that's different.
That is part of my question as well.
That's
in terms
different.
of
so like
that's not.
If you could wave a magic wand and make it.
No, I would not criminalize it.
Okay,
I think it's corny. The reason why I would not criminalize it is because I don't think you can do that without infringing upon a whole bunch of things that I think that individuals get to do. Like if you want to, as long as there's transparency, right? My issue is like when people have I don't know, like the stock market, for example, when they are buying stocks that are directly influencing their policy decisions. The question here is Trump's policy decisions, is any of them being influenced by his meme coins, by his shoes, by his fucking anything? Can you point to me any policy decisions that he has that have been influenced by his fan merchandise?
It would be an inference. No, actually, I could, right? The SEC, right? Like lowering enforcement of like crypto of crypto crimes.
Crypto wasn't enforced before. Did that actually happen?
It was under Biden.
Crypto was enforced heavily under Biden. Like, there was like if you owned crypto, like a cryptocurrency specifically, like you're probably getting debanked under the Biden administration.
They gutted the.
They did everything they could to attack anybody engaged in crypto because it's a threat to the U.S. dollar.
Specifically, Trump when Trump went to the crypto community, I think like literally to a conference previously, like during his campaign, if I'm remembering correctly, and like gave a speech to the crypto community, and then during his inauguration, part of the they had the different inauguration events. He had a crypto ball there, right? I think that's where Snoop Dogg performed. So he had the crypto ball, and then he gives a crypto coin, right?
Such a fucking meme.
It's
yeah,
amazing.
man.
And then, and then
it's a good argument.
He gives he puts out a crypto coin, and he says like, through this coin, if you invest, right, the top investors, I'll have a private dinner with you. You'll have access to me, right? He actually gypped them. It was pretty funny. But like that was the offer there. It seems like a lot. It seems like there's, and then he gives what those he gives what the crypto investors want.
It also
by,
looks like market manipulation,
Wall
by the
Street.
by.
Yeah, like
All right, I think you convinced me. Maybe we should pass a law banning cryptocurrency purchases by presidents. That's a good
Prime guys, you have also convinced me with that. I was just like,
Well,
the
Lactoid.
absurdity of that.
that's
is
kind of
insane.
bad. Yeah, that's
Fair
pretty
enough.
bad.
No, Lactoid.
I mean, Republicans
hold
were
on.
literally pissed off at Hillary Clinton because people were using the Clinton Foundation donations and presumably were being able to go have meetings with her when she was working as the oh god, what was her cabinet position? Department of
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State. I don't know why I kept wanting to say DOD. Yeah, like so. I mean, like if you were against that, this is that, but blatant and obvious, as opposed to potentially secretive. I mean, it's the exact same thing.
fair enough. Let's
Wait, hold on. Was the Trump coin, just to be clear, has it been like proven it's been a rug pull? Is that like official at this point?
Well, rug
A
pull
rug
would be
pull is when you
would be a
offload
different
your
thing.
yeah.
So right, but like it's significantly tied up in his legislature like
I don't think-
idea for it, right? Currently,
Well, I
still?
think that the
No, it's
problem
not
with
the
the rug
legislation.
pull is that
No,
the
no,
rug
no.
pull would be whether or not the crypto coin is a scam.
Right,
It's
I understand
separate
that.
from him wanting to deregulate crypto whilst investing in and getting people to invest in crypto. And then the third issue would be the presumption of selling access to the president for sale.
Sure, I get all that. What I'm asking though, right? Because he's been talking about moving this to crypto, moving like some crypto assets in the U.S.
Yeah, he says I'm gonna be
portfolio.
the first crypto president. And he's
Right.
gonna have
Okay.
crypto
He's pushed for this,
reserves
right?
and-
Okay. Now, all right. Now, I get some of y'all's arguments. Just to do a counter argument, if you were going to have a billionaire president, like we do, right, or alleged billionaire, right, we'll have him in there, and he goes, "Hey, I want the U.S."
The Marxists are so mad right now. A
Just
fucking
hold me-
billionaire president.
Yeah, just hear me out. Hear me out.
You gotta hurry up because we gotta.
Sure,
No,
sure,
he
hold on.
hasn't released his tax
I'm waiting
returns
here,
yet.
by the way. I just all right. If he's going to sit here and he's going to, hey, I want a new coin for us to invest in as a country. Why don't I put up the money to start this? And put this out here, and that be the coin, potentially one of the coins that's adopted under our legislative push into crypto. Yeah, I can see why y'all's argue it would be, oh, maybe that he benefits. Also, if it fails, guess who also gets fucked? He does. So it's like a risk reward. Wouldn't you want somebody like, hey, this guy's magnanimously putting his money up to better America and put forth a coin that we can invest with and have the scrutiny on it because he knows he's going to do it. There's going to be the scrutiny.
Gibbs
It's going to be the
brother.
most checked meme coin in the world. I don't know. I
This
feel
is
like
that
y'all over
Patsy
here
shit I'm
social-
talking about.
Nah.
Like I
Is that
said,
bad
it's
shit I'm
either
talking about?
I don't
I'm not saying you
care
do it on
or
purpose,
it's
but you're making
hilarious
the
because it triggers the
conservatives
libs.
look so
No,
bad.
I mean, I
Only
think
two
it's just-
directions,
it's funny
man.
Because y'all, because every time y'all do this, y'all say I'm patsying, right? Or you say I'm
We
bullshit.
just me and Scott just
I get-
conceded in like 5 minutes when a
Yeah,
good
but y'all-
when a good
hold on,
example was brought up.
Hold on, y'all do this every time, and y'all say whatever, and then suddenly I get proven right, repeatedly. Just like I said last week, and I got yelled at by people called insane by saying, "Oh, the sleeper cells." I brought that up, and guess what? Now, just today, suddenly they're on the lookout for more of these because they put a bulletin out.
By-
And it's like, y'all go.
means Iranians
Yeah,
are
these
trying
sleeper
to
cells.
cross the border,
Right, and
now
the
now those Iranians are now sleeper cell agents who
They
have
could be, but
presented
the
themselves.
point that I'm making is I have repeatedly
I
nailed.
lived through
what
9/11.
Trump-
I
hold on,
could
hold-
obviously
hold on.
know that the media was going to start reporting about sleeper
I
cells.
repeatedly
I
hit
lived through that. tactic.
I
That's
repeatedly hit these
not a
things
prophecy.
that the Trump
It's just a
administration is going to
pattern.
do. No. It's like y'all said this. Y'all acted like I was crazy, and then I say it, and then the administration. It's like I speak it into existence. Like literally a week later, they're saying exactly what I'm saying, and you're like, "Oh, how does she keep doing it?" And then
Right.
because what happens is I say
Oh my
something like
God,
I'm
sorry.
saying now,
Yeah,
and
you-
you're
Admiral
like,
Gibbs is right.
crazy.
He is tapped into the lunacy of MAGA.
I know,
appreciate
I
you
understand
for
it.
being here.
Gibbs, I'm sorry. You jumped in front of the line, and then I thought you were going to do a quick question, but now you're going on a whole rant. I think we're waiting.
I
right?
get jumped all the time in my lines. I don't want to hear that bullshit.
Okay, we'll continue. Corey. Sorry, not Corey. Ali. And then,
Gibbs was
I
before,
agreed. I already said
Grid
your
was
name
before me.
previously.
Grid was before me,
Was it?
so he can go off. Let him go.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I was being very patient. Just first of all, I really got what Scott was going after. I think that's an important point because while we're sitting here talking about Donald Trump enriching himself, he's the only president. He's the only politician that's gone into office and come out worth less than when he went in. He lost $1.1 billion in net worth. I don't know about you guys. That seems like a hit. Seems like maybe, you might feel a certain way about that. I don't know. I'm not Donald Trump, but
I could use
$1.1 billion
$1.1 billion
It
right
went
now.
back up again. It went back up again, though.
I'm sure he earned money, but that's what he does.
He also
but
left during the pandemic, right? When
at the end of the pandemic,
the
yeah.
market went. Okay, whatever. That's fine. But yeah, sure. I'm sorry, Grid. I interrupted you. Do you want to say something?
Magnanimous. That's what Grid wants to say.
Yeah,
He magnanimously gave it up.
Right. Well, I mean, he did. I
I
mean,
got you.
he didn't go into office to make money. Now, at this point, maybe he's just like, fuck it, I don't care. Or maybe it's just the reality is what is happening, and that is his kids who run the marketing part of the business have said, hey, we're going to put these products out there. We did Ivanka shoes 10 years ago. Let's do Trump cologne this year, right? Why not? Well, that's what marketing that's what companies do when they develop products and put them out there. The meme coin again. I just keep going back to if I were a celebrity and somebody came to me and they said, "Hey, I want to do a meme coin and you're gonna make some money," I'd be like, "No way." First of all, I don't know enough about it, and second, like literally, how many celebs now have put out meme coins that have turned out to be rug pulls? A lot.
Well, I think most of crypto has been rug pulls.
Yeah.
But what they're
Trump
talking
one
about
hasn't been a rug
All
pull
right,
yet.
so
what they're talking about is like
But that's what a meme coin is. Like, it's not stable coin. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
but Grid, the
The
point that they
Hawk
brought up
Tuah
was like,
example, right? Hawk Tuah's.
yeah, that's an obvious rug.
Yeah.
What the example they brought up that convinced me though was like when you have the president who like deregulates crypto while substantially investing himself in it.
Sounds like a
Don't
good
we
business.
like want to try to avoid this behavior? Like
No.
for example, we certainly wouldn't want a president like dumping all their money into like weapons like manufacturing and then immediately starting a war, right? Like that'd be kind of fucked.
Says you.
I mean,
I would want that. That seems like good business. I don't like. Listen, like I just what you say.
I'm not a patsy. I just want a Republican to be a war profiteer.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I just like okay, this is a misrepresentation.
Literally, that's kind of what you're saying. That's kind of what you're saying, yes.
Sure. I mean, in one regard, yes, but on the other hand, like no, like okay, like what I'm saying is like if you're gonna have someone develop legislature for something, you probably want them to have a personal interest in it. Like that would be something.
No,
absolutely.
You want the opposite.
No, I don't. I'm sick of that bullshit. That's where we keep getting where we're fucked. We have all these people going bird's eye view and going, you know what's best for these two sides that care about this issue? And then nobody's happy and we get fucked all the way around. I got a better idea. How about we let the two sides that care about an issue actually make the fucking issue, the legislation for the issue? If we want crypto to be deregulated,
because then
maybe
the
we should have
legislation is
somebody
going to be dictated by their personal interests, right?
Well,
That's the
maybe get good scrub and get the votes if you don't like it. But it sounds like they got the votes and they're interested in this, and this is somebody that wants to push us forward into this because it is the future, whether we like it or not. Maybe I just like I don't know why.
What if he's
Everyone considered the
invested?
term Cru Bono and was like, "That's the good guy."
I'm just saying, y'all over here.
So yeah. So hon, he Trump like his competitor, right? Your competitor Gibbs, right? In the ranching business, right?
Sure.
Cogs Growth's ranchers, right? He gives to Trump, right? Gives a lot to Trump. He's like, I want to get rid of the other ranchers, specifically this fucker next door to me named Gibbs, right? And now Trump is invested in the ranching business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he decides I'm going to pass laws to fuck over Gibbs. Is that a good thing? Did your business deserve to get fucked over?
If I'm not smart enough to invest more than old fucking Bob Saget, then yeah, I guess.
I have an example that you will not bite the bullet. Okay, hold on real quick.
Let's
You will not bite this bullet.
Also, let him try.
Let's say Trump put all of his money into big illegal, like he would specifically targeted industries that he benefited from having illegals there, and then he did a 180. Well, hold on. Let's say like hotels, for example. And then he did a 180 on immigration policy.
For example, I don't know where you got hotels.
For example,
from.
yeah. And then let's say And then let's say he did a 180 on immigration policy specifically for hotels. So would you say?
Actually, I have an answer for that. I have an answer for that. On one of the previous panels where that was brought up, what did I say? I said, let me find out how to get to one of these private dinners, and I will get enough people here in my corner that we will get enough money to send me or somebody else to represent us at one of these private dinners. It's fair game if we all know the rules. But y'all over here like, hey, we'd rather have the shady shit go down.
It's not fair game because we don't all have the ability to buy access to the president.
Well, maybe make some more money then.
It's just transparently not fair
Don't be
game.
broke, LSP.
Don't be a broke bitch. That's that simple.
So as it happens,
wait, Gibbs, you don't see an issue with that? You don't see an issue with people being able to buy access to the president of the United States?
No, I absolutely don't. I actually see more of an issue with people that can't afford that.
Still issue if you can't, LSP.
So it's a skill issue. Yeah,
it is.
So
work harder, get smarter. You know.
Let me do these 2 super chats, right? So we have our 5. Oh my god. We have our $5 super chat, which was
only $5. So
it
quickly.
It was like 27 minutes ago.
It
says Hunter versus Trump Jr. Who is making more money during the presidency? If we look away from Trump and blame Biden, you hypocrite, all while active office. So he's calling. I'm not sure exactly he was saying. This was a half hour ago. So I'm not sure he was calling a hypocrite at the time.
Probably me, but
the Dems.
Like no, there's a significant difference, right? And because and the reason there's a significant difference is, again, it goes all the way back to what I was saying earlier, which is obviously what the question is likely referencing. Is it matters where the money is coming from, and it matters how the money influences you, and it matters what actions you take because of the money, right? Like listen, Trump profiting off of a meme coin is probably is corrupt for sure if he's selling access. But Trump deregulating crypto, I'm always going to agree with deregulation, obviously, right? So I'm going to have less of an issue with that. But Hunter Biden working, at Burisma and getting, 80 G's a month so that he can sell access and connections and sell the ability of having, an enforcement mechanism of the United States protecting a corrupt corporation and broker deals for level 4 biolabs and getting money from, under the table from Chinese and gifts that they can sell is a wildly different thing than selling tennis shoes. And so it's like, it's not just that you're benefiting. Like, it is good if a person benefits from making sales or purchases regardless.
You can say the full sentence. You can say tennis shoes.
What if he deregulates tennis shoes right after he buys, he gets into tennis shoes, though, Scott?
I mean, like I understand that from y'all's position, the status position, that bothers you, that that's occurring, and I will admit even some level of being bothered if the regulation is the deregulation is specific in such a way, because it's
what if he raises taxes on non-Trump tennis shoes the day after he launches Trump tennis shoes?
Again, these are wildly different things, right? Because one is an aggressive act, and one isn't an aggressive act.
I'm going to buy a bunch of Trump stock.
Yeah, right. Like so. I mean, like,
I should totally buy some Trump stock.
There is.
He's in a cult.
You have to take it by a case by case basis, and recognize that like certain actions are certain forms of deregulation or policy is going to be regulatory capture. And it's the way that corporations make money, right? It's that they lobby politicians oftentimes to get regulations, not to get rid of regulations. They love regulations.
Right, yeah,
that's why all the billionaires love left-wing politicians, is because the left helps the billionaire class.
Right, I got to hurry up.
By making regulations that benefit them.
I got to keep moving. Alexander Wynn. No worries, friend. I got to assert myself. He says he lost being Trump. Trump lost 1.1 billion after the real estate market was destroyed by quarantine and WFH. I don't know what that is. WFH.
Yeah, we already went through all that.
What's WFH?
I think work from home, I believe.
Work from home. Thank you.
The real estate market
and can't imagine why he hates work from home so much now. Does Trump hate work from home specifically? I haven't heard him.
No, I think
he's made a couple of comments about it because he hates work from home from government employees.
Yeah, I think
okay.
he's mandated whatever return.
Yeah,
holidays
but
type of- something
yeah.
like that.
that's
'Cause they don't do
also
shit.
not very accurate because most of the real estate fallout actually happened in 23, not in 2020.
In 20, you mean
In 2020, people were paying $40,000 over asking typically.
He went, but he leaves.
And he left in
No,
2020.
he leaves in 2021. He leaves in 2021.
Yeah. So it wasn't until 2022, 2023 when the interest rates went sky high that the real estate market started a retraction. That was in the middle of Biden.
I'm not exactly sure, but I hear what you're trying to say. We got two more. All right. Now, Alexander Wynn, this to Gibbs, $10. Thank you, Alexander. Says sounds like Biden should have taken the calls from Burisma to make sure his son can get paid real good. Do you agree with that? I mean, if you're okay with this, with what Trump is doing today, right? Should Biden have taken the calls from Burisma?
This is I think the big difference between like what like I'm saying here and I think what people think maybe I'm saying is like all of this is like on a scale, sliding scale, right? Like is one bad, is the other bad? Yeah. When I'm like here, this sure if Biden had been doing this out in the open and everybody knew that Hunter Biden was in cahoots and like we all knew that this is what was going down before they voted him in and nobody denied it and they didn't hide anything, then sure I would actually probably be okay with it. Like, I would much rather the devil I know than like the devil I don't. But instead they hide this shit, right? And now if Trump and them, and I've been looking into this since we talked about it was a couple weeks ago, like just in case, is if there is a way to go buy a public dinner with Trump, and I think there is, like, guess what? It's on you to go and get all those people money together and go and talk to these people. Like if it's like you want something done in this country, you know what you do?
So
you get off your ass and you do it yourself.
Sure,
Like,
no,
I'd rather we all. My point is, I'd rather we have it all out in the open. Like because it's going to happen regardless. Would you rather have the ability to get table or no ability?
So then I want to be very clear. So you're saying that the Burisma deal was okay. That's fine.
I'm not saying
as long. I mean, no, one second. That, or at least it would have been fine, as long as the public knew that Biden was open for sale. That hey, this is a path. If you enrich his son, right? If you are rich enough, if you are well connected enough to put money in his son's pocket, right? Well, then you can get a call from the president. That you.
Yeah, as long as it's open, but as long as everybody can get a chance to do it, it can't be just Burisma.
Okay, so that was your issue the entire time.
Yeah, I want everybody need to be able to get a shot at being able to buy in.
Oh, I don't particularly remember you saying this previously, but okay.
I've said that many times.
Okay,
you need to put more sarcasm on your statements, Prime. I wasn't.
Well, I mean, what's crazy? But, he can say that. You can say I'm being sarcastic, but like that's consistent with what I've always said.
That's not what I said.
Well, no, it's absolutely consistent with everything. I know he's being sarcastic, but like, hold on, Prime. When had that been inconsistent with anything I've ever put forward? Like what I've just said now.
I think you're. Oh my god!
I think that's gonna be a distraction. Okay.
Before you do that, one last thing, right? Tessico Johnson gives 5
great name. Bucks. Great name.
5 Canadian fun bucks. It says, please ask Lactoid if he thinks only rich white male landowners should be allowed to vote as the founders intended. That's their question. Lactoid, you answer that.
This is a meme from the prior debate, just so you guys are aware.
Can I?
No.
Let me answer it quickly.
I think rich people of any race should be able to vote.
Okay, very good.
Be rich.
Gibbs, let me ask you a question. Would you rather Trump's kids sell merch using the company, Mark brand, his, the Trump brand, or would you rather them have people like, I don't know, say corporations, fixers, brokers, that kind of thing, donate to charities that they run and wash the money through various other.
Let's load the question real quick.
Well, I'm asking Gibbs that because I think Gibbs has an answer to this. And I think I understand the answer to.
This is a very predictable answer to.
But he's been shocking me tonight. He said some.
Obviously, I would prefer you know, hey, if we're gonna sell, if they had made Biden Co. and Biden's son wanted to sell Dark Brandon hats and T-shirts, I'd perfectly be okay with that, and that would be better than if we're gonna have this dark money like disappear over here and come over here and slide ahead, and the charity watches it. Yeah, I don't like that at all because but like I don't know why that would be a surprising answer. I like sure.
No, that is consider. Well, you've pinballed on me a little bit tonight. I just wanted to check. I want to check calibration.
I just want everybody to have fair, safe seat. We just make the rules
Yeah,
for everybody to be
yeah,
able
can I
to play.
ask
It's the
you-
difference between voluntary transactions of people and funneling fucking taxes and dark money to enrich politicians. There's a reason that all of these fucking politicians have insane net worth, and yet most of them don't have any real fucking businesses. What do? They fucking funnel, they create charity organizations and funnel your taxes to these supposed philanthropic means through like 10 different fucking NGOs until it eventually gets to them. Or they fucking engage in the stock market and they outcompete the most brilliant minds in Wall Street that are
Nancy
grabbing
Pelosi is
every
just
fucking
that
Asian
smart,
with
and
an
I don't
IQ of
appreciate you
150
applying
from
otherwise.
MIT.
No,
Like,
no. She is that brilliant, right? Like,
To be
you see her
fair,
track
Nancy
record,
doesn't trade. Paul does.
yeah. Paul Pelosi. Let's
Oh, you
go
buy
to our
autopilot,
friend
yeah.
Ali. Yeah.
Take back what I said in my opening. I think the merch is insidious, and I think it's immoral. I don't believe that his kids or his family members are just licensing his name and then using it, and he's not making $1 off of any of this. I don't believe that for a fucking second. I believe he's making all the money, and he just has his kids as like the business heads or whatever. Like, whatever
it's the
it
same
is.
thing as the peanut farm the LSP brought up, right? Like
I-
the peanut
I
farm was
don't-
sold to a blind trust, right?
Sure.
So he wasn't managing it. So the question isn't whether or not Trump is profiting off of it. He is.
No.
The question is whether
that
or
wasn't
not
my point.
he's managing.
Oh, I got a great law.
That wasn't my point. I think like because I'm watching Gibbs and I'm watching Grid, and I feel like this is the most parasocial relationship between the voters and the president I've ever seen. Because when we were talking about the Obama phones and the Obama gas, like when I brought up the Obama gas stations, it wasn't anyone from his administration or his family that opened up. It was people who decided to open up like a gas station and name it an Obama gas station. That wasn't like him doing it.
That's
And
that's
so,
not what
like,
the Obama phone was.
I don't.
The term Obama phone came from
Was like a free phone.
conservatives. They were critiquing
Yeah.
the Obama administration because they were using taxes
That's what I'm
to give
saying.
people cell phones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like we have these like named things by like the people, right? Versus like the administration or anyway being tied like to these merch items being sold. So like outside of the president being done with his presidency and selling a book, I do think it's weird that through this merch you can gain access to the president. I feel like that builds a weird parasocial relationship there.
How do you gain?
And to the point where I'm not gonna lie, this kind of comes with like a blind defense of the guy.
Well, Ollie,
Sure,
do you
like,
have a
you
problem
guys-
with like the
hold
name
on,
ships
hold on,
after
wait,
the
hold on.
president?
It comes with a blind defense
Let
to
him
the point where like where a real question was asked, where he like talked about a third term. And that was a whole tizzy. But when you ask the people that voted for him, hey, would you be okay with a third term? Everyone did kind of defend it. And so, like, I do think it's weird. I do think it's bad that the president is selling merch, that he's building a parasocial relationship with because Lactoid called them his fans, not even his constituents, not even his voters. These are his fans.
Some of them
We
are
should
his
not
fans,
have
yeah, for
shouldn't
sure.
have presidents that have fans like this.
Well,
Okay, it's
well,
a
actually,
weird,
we're
it's
also
a
called
weird
the most
precedent.
moral
This-
president. He made
I think
There's
I think it's a mass manipulation play, and I think you guys need to seek therapy. The parasocial relationship between
Ollie,
MAGA
Ollie,
and Trump is
there's-
insane.
Ollie,
Do you
Ollie,
have
there's
how many
one thing
named
that
ships
there's one
after
thing that you
presidents?
kind of missed up, Ollie, which is like, and it's like we'll go into it later, or you can look it up later, right? But when you're talking about like, oh, this person got a New York Times bestseller, one of the things you need to understand is that's a way that people funnel money. That's a form of money laundering.
I'm saying
right?
outside of like a book, I feel like the
like-
other merch is weird. Like I feel like it makes
Right,
sense if
what
a
I'm s- right,
president
Right,
writes
but
a
what I'm
book.
saying is like when you see presidents and politicians sell books, very, very often those books are just in warehouses that nobody buys, and yet they get massive profits.
I can believe
so that they can get on the it's a form of
I
money
can
laundering
believe
and
that.
moving money around.
So,
right?
But I think
I'm
I'm
just
more
throwing
okay
that out
with that.
there.
I think I'm a little bit more okay with that.
But that's the more insidious.
serious
Like, where
question,
is that
Ollie.
money coming from? though?
Ollie, serious question. How much access to Trump does a
The rest of
$20
it is
t-shirt buy you? Or however much the shoes cost, $100 pair of shoes. How much?
I don't
access
think
to the
you.
president?
I don't think
You just said that. I couldn't
Wait.
believe what
I
I heard.
know. I'm gonna. I don't think you believe that like you buying $100 shirt is doing, but I do think a lot of the people who purchase the merch consider that as like an added vote, right? Like Trump is gonna see that his base is buying all this shit, and then this is the shit we want supported. So they're like, kind of like when Gibbs was telling me that
voting with your wallet, but
Trump
that's
would
There's
support
no
the
damn
Arabs.
way that's true. There's
Kind
no
of
way.
like how Gibbs was telling me that, like, yeah, maybe the people in Dearborn think that Trump is going to help the Arabs if they see that they voted for him. Maybe there's more benefit. So, like, I do think if Trump sees that his base is supporting him and the fact that they're purchasing all that merch, yeah, I could see that swaying. Like, if he puts out the cologne and no one buys it, he's not going to believe his base supports him anymore.
Wouldn't that just be his base supporting him? Like, why would that be problematic from a democratic perspective?
I think it's because I think the base feels like this is getting them connection to it, right? Whether it be small or little, they're showing their support in a weird way, but it feels like they have a weird connection to it. And I'm talking it's wrong from a parasocial. I think there's something insidious going on there.
Okay, so
Ollie-
your argument is like psychologically,
Yeah.
there's something like,
But Ollie,
kind of
but
like
wouldn't this
almost
give
like
them
a
more
power dynamic
pull?
weird thing going on
Hold on.
here.
Yeah,
Hold on, so
like the
Ollie-
like the
That's
Ollie-
fair.
But
Yeah.
hold on, this gives them more pull in some
I
regards,
disagree,
right?
but
Well, hold on.
That's
So,
a
like,
fair
check this out. Do you remember the 2016, like, what was it, the Langford, or I don't remember, whatever the first Trump bill was for the immigration stuff, and it even had more than the last one that was proposed, and the base comes out and they go, no, we will not let you put DACA in here. And part of that was because, he's got this rabid parasocial base that you're talking about, and they actually pulled him away from including DACA. He took it to Schumer, and Schumer said, we're going to die on the hill, and then, the bill didn't come right. Then it comes back the next time, Schumer and them didn't even bring DACA up in the next bill, right? So what this tells me when you're talking about this, Ali, is that this is actually giving the public another avenue for reaching their president. If they're able to like buy a bunch of merch and Trump sees that, oh, they're buying my merch, that means it's like another popularity poll. Oh, I'm selling X amount of merch. That's equivalent to what I was getting,
But
what
that's
I
not
was
how the
running
president
for.
should.
Hold
work.
on. You say that. However, at the same time, say he does something that they don't like. Now they don't spend the money. You see a direct decline in sales. Now, what you're arguing is that's not how it should work. Well, I'm arguing that the shit's not been working for a while. At least this is giving the public another way to speak directly to the president, and that way may be with their wallet. Why is that necessarily a bad thing?
Okay, so like this may
It's
sound
more
dumb, but like let's just say because Trump's been on his meme kick lately. He has his own fucking social media, which is kind of insane on its own. But let's just say like the president decided to like do a live stream 3 times a week.
Is anybody on?
And then was getting super chats, and like that's how people. You think that's like that's how the presidency should run? That like you should have access by paying for like a super chat to talk to the president?
Sure. Do you think that it was fair? Hold on.
Yeah, I know, but like, I want to test how far he's willing to go because we're getting into idiocracy.
Do you think it was fine that FDR did fireside chats and had exclusive access to the radio back in the day when he was running for office? No, he exclusively had the ability to be on the radio via fireside chats, talking to the public during a crisis period. And whenever people tried to run against him, they didn't have that ability. Do you think it was fair for him to do that? Nobody seems to complain about that. But you have a problem when Trump is doing something independently of his office.
People complain about that. If you go to college, people complain about that all the time. They call it the incumbency advantage. And then good government, quote unquote, under the Nixon administration, after the Nixon administration, did things like free mail, etc. Well, no, that is the incumbency advantage.
I mean, sure, but it's not the same. It's not what we're talking about now.
But no, that's what he. That's
I'm just saying people talk about that all the time. Like, if you take
they weren't literally using the emergency broadcast system to take over and talk just so he could talk every day.
That's the incumbency advantage. Free
that's
mail is the incumbency advantage. Name recognition is the incumbency advantage.
The
ability to directly help your constituents with their problems, so like they feel like they've been helped by their.
And this is the modern non-government version of doing that. This is much better, is what I'm arguing, than them doing that.
Yeah, I mean it's fair. I'm just saying people do bitch about that. Like that's it's a common thing people talk about in politics.
Okay, so I won. Okay, let me there's a super chat. I gotta read. Someone really wants me to read it, so I'm gonna read this. And there's also something I want to talk to Lactwood about before our time is up. But to Gibbs, right, from Alexander Wynn, $20. Thank you for the kindness. So if the president openly offers presidential pardons for $10,000 a pop, that's actually kind of cheap. I will talk about it in a second. $10,000 a pop. Murderers, cartel leaders, war criminals, who he's pardoning. You're good with that, right? As long as it's public and anyone who can crowdfund it gets one. You're good with that. Like
I
cartel
would-
leaders can pay
I
$10,000.
would say that there would have to be a few restrictions, but like as a whole, the concept.
Carmelo
on the
Anthony
table.
is innocent.
Yeah, I would say
innocent.
maybe we don't let people convicted of like rape or murder buy in. You know, maybe a few other different crimes, but
Oh, it's
you
just
know,
property
maybe-
theft. You can buy your way
maybe,
out.
yeah, maybe property theft. You know, maybe some other ones, tax
I
fraud.
can buy
you know,
a
like-
pardon for
Bernie
property
Madoff.
theft.
I think it'd be pretty base to be able to buy a pardon for
A
tax fraud.
$10,000
like-
pardon for tax fraud would be insane.
Yeah, I would say-
Kids, the children.
I kind of like that. I kind of like tax fraud ones.
You unironically should be able to buy a pardon for property crimes, and it should be
Thank you.
and it should be for the damages that you did. The idea
Plus
that you can,
10%.
I'd be okay with something like that.
You know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah.
if you have the money to pay back the damage you did, and you do that, then yeah, you should be pardoned.
So,
Maybe give him a little
Fuck
cherry on
should be
top.
going in jail
what,
for.
what actually? So what? In actual real life, right? Thank you for the question.
But that would be sane.
So thank you for the question there. But in actual real life, Trump has literally pardoned people who just put money in his pockets, who've just like bought through his coin, right? Or not? There's Trump coin, then there's another coin, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Trump and
There's,
Melania.
no, there's Melania, no, but I think there's a something separate. Well, there's another path to give Trump money. It may not be a coin, but it's something like that. But anyway, that people have invested into Trump have gotten pardons, direct pardons. We're talking about like the individuals in crypto, right? Who either had investigations pending or who had been convicted. They had been pardoned, and I can give you examples later on. But like that exactly. I have a whole list of this. I have to pull up, but there's exactly this is happening right now. But I guess it's not a problem, right? I guess we move on. Crime is legal at this point in time, but I can pull up this list, but you gotta give me a second. Lactoid. While I work on that. So you talked about how like, well, Trump isn't selling it. Donald Trump isn't selling all this, right? It's his children who are selling all these things, and they're being enriched, right? But in terms of corruption, right? That's how that always works. Like that's how like it always works. Like for most individuals, they're smart enough not to directly take a bag of money, correct? Right? Like when
But his kid's been doing this for like 30 years, 20 years or whatever.
not sorry, but this we're talking about using Trump's position in the office, right? How would they name the fragments? Trump 4547. They're directly trading on Trump's position in the office. It's very clear, right? But anyway, so you go to some bumfuck low income country, right? You go to the dictator there, and you want to do business, right? Scott wants to do business, and I'm the leader of the bumfuck country, right? Scott comes to me and like, yeah, I'd really like to do business here. Is there anything I can do for you? And I say to Scott, no, oh my God, how would you? Are you implying that I would take a bribe? No, there's nothing you can do for me, Scott. Ugh, disgusting. Now, on a completely separate note, my son has a farm has been failing. He just can't get the equipment that he needs, right? Boy, oh boy, I wish he could turn that around. Well,
And I would say, can
meeting's
you
over.
guarantee the safety of a few white South Africans for me real quick?
Yes,
Because
I
I've
can
got some.
I get
Put
what
to
you're
work.
saying, Prime. But again,
Yeah.
the alternative to this would be, let's say his kids are capitalizing on the fact their dad is the president. Like, how would you stop them from doing that?
Why would you stop them from doing that?
Legislation.
They've literally,
That's
I
another question.
bought a
How and
tie.
why?
I have a Trump tie from like from 2000. I love that tie. It's an awesome tie.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, hon. But it's not that a person can't do business, period, right? People can't do business or they shouldn't do business that enriches them while in office, giving them a path for corruption, right? So like
I put some stuff in the back chat about that. You should check that out.
I'll have to take a look in a second. So there shouldn't be a path for the fucking Saudis to put money in the pockets of his children, right? China, remember China?
Like, didn't he give the plane to somebody else, like a different organization?
Oh yeah, the plane.
The plane's not a big issue. I don't care about the plane.
Yeah, disagree. Right. So the Qatari plane, right? It doesn't go to Trump. Trump doesn't actually. He's never going to own the plane. No. First, that we give it to the Department of Defense, right? Department of Defense operates that plane, right? They're going to retrofit the plane for him, right? They're going to retrofit the entire plane, upgrade it, and then it'll go straight to the Trump library. The Trump library controls, but not.
That's what happened to Reagan's plane.
But not Trump. It's not Trump. Trump doesn't get the plane, right?
Again,
Trump gets to ride around the plane. Trump gets to use the plane the entire time, right? But Trump, no way, right? The foreign government. I don't know the deal with Reagan's plane. I don't. You'll have to elucidate.
He had a plane. Yeah, he had a plane that was put into the library after he was
gifted
done
by a foreign government.
I don't think it was gifted by a foreign
No,
government.
not gifted by. Okay, great.
But again, I don't think that. If it's given to the DoD, I don't see that as an issue.
Gift. So you don't think that it's
the issue is it shows he's bribable.
Yeah, it's bribable.
No, it doesn't.
Come on,
it actually doesn't.
Wait, here. Let me frame it this way: is under Trump's leadership, the United States able to accept anything from a foreign government? Is a government agency under the authority of Trump able to accept things from foreign governments?
Yes, they can accept things from foreign governments. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Why?
When we're doing business with a government for fair trade, right? If we trade something, we
have agencies that for the function specified by the agency, a function that was around well before Trump, they need XYZ to do XYZ process. In this case, he was overdue for a plane. The planes that he was going to get were delayed, and the Qataris were like, "Hey, we got a plane for you. We'll give it to the DoD, and you don't get to own it, and then it goes to your library after the fact."
No, but he does own it. But he doesn't.
But he doesn't own it.
But he doesn't own it. The Department of Defense owns it. And once he's out of office, he has no control.
It's like this
Department of Defense.
This fig leaf. Hold on. Doesn't get to use it. Doesn't get to use it after when it gets donated to Trump library.
No, he does not. Nope.
He doesn't get to use it. Bullshit.
Nope.
Bullshit.
Reagan didn't use his plane after it went to the library.
Who cares if Reagan uses the plane? I'm asking, can Trump use the plane afterwards?
No, it's in the library. He can't go use the plane. It's Air Force One.
It never said no. It never. No, that's different. You're sneaking something in.
No, we're not.
I know. I know Reagan's plane is literally physically in the library. I'm aware of that, right? But will Trump's plane have to be physically within the library until like after he's dead, or can he use it like on loan from the library until he's done with it?
They can use an airplane that's outfitted by the Secret Service once they're out of office.
But okay, give me that rule. Show me that rule. I have no idea where you're getting that rule from. And anyway, the Secret and they're still protected by the Secret Service after they leave office. So it would actually work really well for them if you just got a plane that was outfitted.
That would be cool. Not to Boeing couldn't get it.
Just real quick, not to like undermine anything you're saying, Prime, but just to add to it, I think the more salient point that's also being missed out on this is that this might be a violation of the Emoluments Clause. They're not supposed to accept gifts from foreign governments without the approval of Congress.
Agreed. So let me.
That's just the Constitution, man.
I agree. Let's read these two super chats.
A gift to him, though.
Alexander Wynn, $20. This was only 5 minutes ago. Okay. Why draw the line at numbers and posts? Murders and rapists. Murders and rapists, Gibbs. What if he lets you pay within 24 hours $1 million to override the pardon and he won't sign it but keeps the money? like a bidding war. I see. Interesting. Capitalism and free
You and the
markets
victim
in action.
bidding against each other.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's a good one, Gibbs. So yeah, you and there's the perpetrator.
For the
right?
record, that's not capitalism. I'm just throwing that out there. That bullshit
Okay.
big, but you know.
Fair enough. Capitalism, right? Sorry, not cap. Sorry, apologies. The
Yeah, put them in
perpetrator,
prison.
right? The rapist, right? His opening bid is 10 grand, right? And should then the victim have to put up like 15 grand, right, to up his bid, and then whoever wins at the end, right? Then they'll decide whether the pardon stays or it doesn't. Would you be in favor of that, Gibbs?
I got one addendum to that I will add. It is that the person that's been convicted of the crime, they have to actually fight in the gladiator arena, a
Okay.
champion or the other, for all the money bidded by
Always
both
a
sides.
meme.
Trial by combat.
I mean,
added
hold
to
on.
this.
LSP, you're talking about a meme. You're opening everything you've said like that's a meme. That's freaking hilarious, bro. Like, really.
All
Like,
you've done is meme. I'm just pointing it
I
out.
mean, you're like, come on, man. Like, literally, that was a meme question. Oh, it's a meme. I don't want to pull a Fabian and be like, what did you add to this conversation other than entertainment value? I mean, that's all it is we're all laughing at you, not with you. I got you. You're good.
Sir Bobbles for $5 says Reagan's plane was used for multiple presidents before it sent to the library. It was decommissioned, so it was a decommissioned plane, and then it was being. But again, it wasn't. These aren't a one-to-one analogies because we're talking.
It will be a one-to-one analogy. If Trump uses it as president, it would be donated to his library that can maintain it, but he can't use it after he's president. And he has his own. He has a 737. What I mean,
he also said he's not going to use it. So
he has his own
he said-
737.
he said
He's
so.
not
There you go.
poor. He has
I don't know how he
an
could.
airplane. Actually, he has an airplane and like
maintained
4
planes
helicopters.
before. He had planes before.
No, I understand, but this is a very different kind of plane, right? You'd have to have the government go in, pull out all the shit that they put into Air Force One.
Why?
Because you can't have that kind of equipment on a civilian aircraft.
One, but he's going to be protected by.
Secret Service for life.
There might be he's going to be protected by Secret Service life. Yeah, there might be a decommissioning process, right? That happens, right? Where something is okay. That's fine, right? But still, that doesn't invalidate using the plane after. It doesn't mean the plane is broken afterwards. It's not busted. Yeah, you can decommission it from specifically presidential
I'll tell you this.
status.
I'll tell you this, Prime. If after he's done being president, if he just starts using the planes, like my plane now, you can tell me that you told me so. Okay. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see how it's going to happen. But
okay. All right. Well,
I mean, like conversations like these, I get it. It's obvious. It's easy to deal with in the sense that like we can see the country, we can see who donated it, we can see the plane, etc. But I don't know. There's just something really weird to me, or maybe disingenuous. And I don't mean against you, Prime. I'm talking about like the culture and media as a whole, right? Where we focus so much on these like back and forth quippable thing. Donald Trump is so evil because of the plane and this, and it's like it's why I brought it up in my opening statement. Like Kushner and his ties with dark money with the now Prime Minister of Canada, or his dealings with in the Middle East. It's like it seems obvious to me. Maybe it's not to others, or maybe I'm it's my mindset as a libertarian, but it seems very much that the left, the media, the pundits, the debaters, all of these people, they go after things like planes, which are these kind of meaningless in comparison to the way dark money in politics and political families work, because they know that the plane is something we can yabber about against Trump, as opposed to actually talking about how billionaires and corporations and the wealthy elite actually run this fucking country. Because it's just so fucked to me that we're talking about a goddamn plane and the emoluments clause and like, the tidbits of whether or not he uses or doesn't use this plane, when there's so much worse shit we could be talking about Trump or Biden or Obama or the Clintons or any of these people. But it's like, it's the same situation with the fucking Epstein list that we were talking about so much earlier, is that's a game everybody's playing, so we don't talk about that fucking game.
So I agree with you. I agree with everything you've just said, right? But what it feels like to me is that there are a number of paths. Let's say just we'll put a number to it. 3 paths, right? Previously to enrich a president, right? To go through corruption. Now there are 10 paths. Would you rather live
Right.
in a world where there's 3 paths, right? Or 10 paths? And then in the first world, when there's only 3 paths, would it not be easier to start closing those paths down if there are only 3 rather than 10?
I mean, like my position is just going to be different than everybody else's because I don't care if a president enriches themselves by being president. I care how they do it, right? So like, I don't care if somebody sells merch. Like it doesn't bother me. I don't care about the whether or not like I care if they deregulate or regulate in such a way that benefits the way in which they sell merch or something. I care if they I care if there is a genuine conflict of interest there to a certain degree. Um, but I recognize that I'm like an outlier there, so I'm just not like the right person to ask in terms of how the general public feels in that. Because
I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, that's it pretty much.
I think Ollie pointed out something rather salient that kind of gets to the point you're talking about, which is that the flashiness of Qatari planes being donated to the president, or
Right.
hats and cologne or perfume or whatever being sold, that in itself has an off feeling to it because this president is very much like an influencer president. And the people who are buying this stuff very much have a sort of parasocial mindset when they make these purchases. So it makes it feel a little weirder because presidents are supposed to do that.
No, it's definitely different. It's definitely novel. And it definitely is like corruption used to be something that only nerds like me cared about, really genuinely, right? Like because you watch your Walter Cronkite, you get the CIA approved news, and you kind of just go about your day. And so like I kind of agree with you there. I almost kind of like it because it showcases the stupidity of the concept of democracy, right? Because the average voter is just too fucking retarded to have any meaningful say in how an entire country is run. And even the smartest person is too, like Corey, for example. Corey is an incredibly intelligent person, and there's one domain in which you might be qualified in being able to say how our country is run, and that's your specialty, your field, right? I would respect your position on like algae biofuel, or certain or certain metrics that deal with pharmaceutical industry, or things that are at least tangential to like what you deal with on a daily basis, because I know you're an expert in that. And the rest of the panel and the rest of the American public, with the exception of 0.001% of people, is too fucking retarded to have any valid opinion in that. And at the same time, no offense to you, you're too retarded to have an appropriate opinion where your vote matters on how we ought deal with the military situation in Ukraine or Russia. And it's like, I think Trump is doing such a good job accidentally of highlighting just how absurd this entire governmental structure is. And I think Doge did a good job of that to a certain degree, in showcasing how inefficient the government is and how dumb we do things. And I think people and like their sycophantic love of this populist streamer influencer president is showing just how malleable the American people are and how meaningless the concept of democracy is.
Except for the Doge part, I agree.
So you agree with what I was saying earlier?
That's what
LSP was, but you were off again.
Yeah, sorry.
He got finished eating his meal like the exact opposite of a recruit in basic training, because it takes him like 45 minutes to eat a small bowl of rice.
I'm convinced he finger bangs his lady, and then comes back.
She's
got to get to bed somehow.
That's so thin, man. He doesn't get any calories because he's like eating like 20 calories an hour slowly but surely, and then he's like, I'm full.
LSP, do you have something else you want to say? I want to give space before I'll wrap things up here.
No, you're free to wrap up, my friend.
Okay. I thought this was an overall good discussion. There's so much more to it I want to talk about actually. But
Horses, right?
the horses they're less efficient. Indeed. One day we'll get
Less
Corey to
efficient than
make
camels. All right. It's one
less
thing Ali and
efficient.
I can agree on.
Extremely right. You've heard the whole story about like the U.S. Army like was going to invest in camels. At one point, right? Have like a camel regiment.
Camels are
and it was
cool in terms of
Whatever happened to
their
the dolphins? You know how the
evolutionary
Soviet Union had dolphins? Why didn't we do
For,
that?
like-
We used dolphins for like mines and shit.
Oh, we did.
blown
That's
up.
based.
Yeah.
I think we got seals too.
Yeah. Because we could train them to go blow up mines and kill them themselves. It was better than taking out a ship.
There's a whole fascinating thing on an attempt to have like a camel regiment, right? People laughed at the thought of like back when we had horse charges, right?
Mhm.
The cavalry charges. People laughed at like the thought of using camels. Like, why would you use a camel, right? But like
Because of long distance travel.
for everything, there's so much they're so much better. And there's one member of the armed forces, some colonel or some shit, right, who wanted to prove this, and I think he either had them try to go cross country or something. There's like a whole experiment he was trying to run on this. I don't remember the history exactly right now.
Now they're like free.
But it's really fun.
Yeah, they're like-
women
there's
are
like a pack
women
of-
are better
bad,
at long
is it?
marches too.
There's a pack of
once you
free
go over,
camels
like
in
80
Mexico now
miles,
because of that.
if they don't break their hips,
Oh, that's
because
what I
that's a
wanted to.
big problem with long marches with women. If they don't break their hips, they're more efficient than men at long marches.
what it looks like.
Okay, yeah, and
But
men
they break
trying
their
to,
hips a lot when you put a rucksack on a woman and make her like walk more than like 20 or 30 miles. Their hips usually give out.
My
But
son
if they don't do that,
My
They're more
14-year-old son right now is in Philmont with the Boy Scouts. I think he's on like he'll complete like 50 of 70 miles today, and he'll finish up the next 20 miles over the next 2 days, and then he flies home after that. So
nice.
yeah, he climbed. He started at 2,000 feet, and today he was on Mount Baldy, where he could actually get cell signal and call me, which is like I think 12,000 feet. So he's climbed 12,000 feet in the last 9 days.
Lacto, what have you done in the
Nice.
last 9 days? Have you done that?
Yeah, Lactoid.
Yeah.
Go on a march, baby.
And you remember, you've been drunk the whole weekend.
Amen.
No,
As a
no.
true American should be.
Hold on, one more super chat. $5 from my friend Sir Bobbles. He says, to the group, why are you personally not being a grifter off of people around you to get massively richer? Define your massive failures.
because I'm not gay like you. That's a stupid question.
Well,
Well,
for me,
streamers,
yeah.
that's what we're doing already, right? Like,
Oh.
make us rich.
Well, I'm feeling at that at least. Yeah, but I think you should have a personal, even on a personal level, a level of principles of values. And I don't think our president has that like at all. I think he proves that constantly.
Oh, he values money. Can't.
He values that.
And that makes him
and
the most
baddies.
moral, according to
Then-
Lactoid.
Money
Most
and
moral.
baddies.
Money and baddies.
These are good priorities.
This is why
So,
the
yeah.
rappers have endorsed him.
And
This is
I
true.
actually yes.
Money and
This is
baddies.
true.
Yeah.
Actually, yes. Thanks all for being here. Much appreciated. I'm going to give an outro to these amazing individuals. Consider supporting the channel if you haven't done so already. Support the channel. Sub the channel, give bits or give subs. Help us out, especially on Twitch. We ain't got any subs. We got a resub from our friend Gibbs, who's been always been a real one. Even when I knew the fuck out of him, Gibbs still helps support the channel. So I appreciate you, Gibbs. But yeah, consider supporting the channel, sub channel, give bits, give subs. Shout out to our individuals who. Oh well, thank you, Sean, on YouTube for gifting a membership. Really kind. This is the only one who messes with the membership system. Sean, thank you, Sean. I remember we have a membership just because of Sean, because Sean always he gives a membership every time. Very much appreciated, friend. And thank you to our super chatters who are
I have a
keeping it
fuck ton of
afloat.
members, and I don't know why, because I don't give them anything other than a few emotes. Like, I appreciate you guys, but
I think people are gifting memberships in your I'm a member in your Discord. I was gifted,
Just
or
start
not your
doing
Discord, your YouTube.
you should start doing
Yeah.
your philosophy stuff behind a paywall, Scott, and then
Mm-hmm.
they'll
Yeah.
get the benefits.
Yeah, do the members only streams. Yeah. Do some.
I don't stream enough to be able to.
Just do
to
like
be able
one
to
a
do
month.
that.
Be like one a month, and then if
Just
you get
be an
enough, then
American
two a month,
capitalist for like 5
you know?
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's wrong? What you got a problem with capitalism, huh?
I don't have a problem with capitalism, but I will say this: there's nothing more capitalist than a socialist Twitch streamer, because like
Damn right.
they are the most like oh, I need money for this, I need money for that. Oh my god, I need $100,000 for this lawsuit I'm never gonna actually do anything with. Like they will get money.
That's the
I
moral
just called
good.
out like 15 different people, so don't worry.
I can see Lactoid's gears are switching. He's like, maybe I should become a socialist.
Here's one
At least
already.
on stream.
Or just become a streamer lawyer.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Corey, for tapping in for me.
Sure. Okay. So, anyway, thank you, everyone. I'm gonna give an outro to these fine people. Right. One of the finest is our good friend Lactoid. Lactoid, thank you for being here, having a good chat, a good back and forth. I think.
Yeah, if you like what I had to say, you can find me at Lactoid TV on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I have noticed something in the real world, but on the internet, but also in the real world, which is I think that there is a major advantage to being a grifting partisan hack, like significantly so.
Oh,
like
absolutely. Yeah.
it's very and when you have conversations with people and you express like, oh, like I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this, they will sort of implicitly put you in like one or two boxes, like, oh, this is a Democrat, this is a Republican. And you can protest this. You can say like, well, actually, like, there's different considerations, there's all this stuff. But I think for a lot of people that just sort of goes on deaf ears. So if I ever like become that, or like I can't criticize Trump, I'm just letting you guys know here as my friends, that is the reason that like I gave up being principled, and I'm just like trying to like make as much money as possible and like get as many friends as possible. I mean, so if that happens, don't call me out, please. Let me keep doing it. That'll be really nice. But in the meantime,
if you gift subs
yeah.
to the channel.
But in the meantime, though, there's just something inside me where I can't do that quite yet. So I'm gonna keep pointing out when politicians do bad thing, regardless of who it is. So,
shout out to my friend Lactoid, who I have my problems with, very, very loud problems with, but he consistently does try to be consistent. Consistently tries to be consistent. So I do appreciate that, even when it's extremely difficult. He'll do it, and I do consistently checks with him all the time, right? So you're appreciated is what I'm saying. Shout out to Lactoid. Let's go to our good friend Scott. Scott, thanks for coming on. I thought this was a great conversation as well.
Yeah, happy to be back. I've been pretty sick lately, so I'm still recovering, but it is what it is. You can find me. You can just Google Fabian Liberty. You'll find me on YouTube or Twitter or whatever. So I agree with everything Lactoid said. If you want to my life advice for everybody is if they're in Hollywood or they're a politician, you should just assume that they're a pedophile and a liar. If they're a streamer, 9 times out of 10, way more than 9 times out of 10, they're probably a grifting, lying piece of shit. And in order to prove that I am not a grifting, lying piece of shit as a streamer, I'll give you my most controversial take that nobody that is a grifter would ever say, which is I am becoming increasingly more convinced, the more scientific literature that I read, that some species of whale and dolphin are moral actors and are deserving of the exact same rights as human beings. And that means that they have to be treated with all of the same liberty, all of the same human rights, and all of the same law as would humans. There you go.
I think they're moral actors, and Corey is going to have something to say in a second. I think they're moral actors. In fact, I literally just this week, I was actually putting a lot of thought into whale rights and what we should be doing with dolphins, thinking about
It's
their
called
massive brains.
Dolphin Law in my channel, and they won't let it go.
Maybe you're doing it as a meme. I don't know, but
I'm not doing it as a meme. I'm being honest here, though.
Okay, great. Yeah. I think they have massive brains. I think they have complex societies. They have language. I think we should give them a lot more consideration. How that should look like under the law, I'm not exactly sure. I'll let Lactoid figure out. He's expert in maritime law, so he'll do it for us. So I'll hire him for that one. But yeah,
you gotta ask some sovereign citizens about maritime law, bro. It will blow your mind.
Or the U.S. postal courts. That's another thing you should ask sovereign citizens about.
Yeah. No, thanks. But thank you so much. And also, let's never forget that Scott and Lactoid admitted that I convinced them of something, at least one thing, right? I convinced them of something today. Delete the VOD. So we're gonna hold on to that, right, forever. But I appreciate you guys for being honest, right? So let's go to Corey.
Yeah, quick follow-up question based off of what Scott just said, which I'm glad he's coming around. So based off of what you said about, let's say the statistics of the average voter, would you say some whales and dolphins are more qualified to vote than some humans?
No, obviously not, because they can't communicate.
I'm memeing
their
a little
thoughts
bit.
and feelings.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
even if they could communicate it, we lack the capacity to. The whole IQ with animals thing is really fucking dumb because they don't translate well, right? And so it's like a dolphin can't. Even if you tried, they wouldn't really be able to communicate their thoughts and feelings or their moral decisions. But I've seen some research specifically along the lines of
But in principle, you're open to the question.
No, I mean, if they could communicate their thoughts and feelings as moral actors, then I still wouldn't give them the vote because voting isn't a right. I just don't see it benefiting us.
Okay. And also, some more.
In fact, I would much rather get rid of women's suffrage than give dolphins the right to vote. Okay. I'm pro repealing the 19th Amendment for sure.
Not going to touch that. But yeah, some more biology facts on the topic of camels. You should look into the efficiency of the kidney of the camel in terms of their ability to extract or retain water so they don't get dehydrated, as opposed to our run-of-the-mill kidneys. And also, again, the argument of biology and the efficiency of the human body. Human running is more efficient than Lactoid's motorcycle, pound for pound.
Yeah, Lactoid, you're trying to.
I forgot about the bike, man. How's that going?
You failed.
It's going great.
Awesome,
bro. But all I have to say, the humans still win.
I'm gonna go ride my motorcycle tomorrow.
Not by a mile, but many miles. But yeah, you can find me as always. This is great. You can find me on Twitch, Corey Campbell 84, Twitter, X, YouTube, Instagram, Substack. It's Corey Campbell. Grid, LSP, Gibbs, Ali, Scott, Lactoid. Always a pleasure. Love you, Prime.
Thank you so much, friend. All right, let's go to our friend Ali. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Stop buying Trump merch. I'm actually really annoyed that he's releasing a cologne because I'm I have a lot of bottles and now I want to try it to see. I have 40, 50 bottles personally.
I feel like this is very Lebanese.
You got to buy one.
I feel like
100. What?
You got to buy one. I mean,
I might. I got to see if it smells good or not. But yeah, I don't know. President merch bad. Parasocial relationship to president bad. Cult bad. But while we're at, always free Palestine, river to sea. Thank you, Prime, for having me, fellas. It was always a pleasure.
Free Palestine. Let's never forget. Every time mention the genocide. Let's go to our friend Admiral Gibbs.
So I'm Admiral Gibbs. Check out tomorrow. We're gonna be doing a lot of underground coverage of the Texas flood stuff. A lot of videos, gonna be good stuff. As for this, a wise former socialist once said, the more money you make, the more moral you are. So actually a president making money off this is the most moral thing you can do. And that's we'll have the most moral country in the world with the president and his family selling all these things. I absolutely will also be buying the Trump cologne. And if it smells good, I'm going to be carrying it in my pocket when I go places because that shit will be hilarious. Like, what you smell so good. Oh, yeah? You look like you're a lefty. You're going to love this shit. And then be like, yes, gotcha, bitch. It's going to be fun. It's going to be wonderful.
He's going to carry that great around like the car in high school.
It's going to be, I tell you what, it's going to be the ultimate Riz icebreaker, like specifically with Latinas. I guarantee it.
Oh my god! I mean, you would know. You're the expert.
I feel like
I'm not going to question
Latinas,
you on that
the
one.
crazy Latinas.
That's kind of one and the same.
That's kind of, I was about to say. it's
You're going to be
fucking
carrying that
yourself,
around
man.
like Drakkar in high school, aren't you?
I'm excited to do it.
Thank you, Gibbs. Let's go to our friend LSP, who we're happy to have back. LSP, I hope you are able to enjoy your time here and get in some good quips at individuals. LSP.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know what to say about the whole topic other than sucker born every minute. All I can do is point to, the eroding dignity of the office of the president and our eroding democratic norms and say, hey, that's probably not good. But, like I said, it's either a meme or I don't care. Anyway, I did appreciate the talk, and it was nice getting to see some of you guys again. It's been a while, and I missed some of you guys. I missed being there on the scene. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. And Grid, who we didn't have to have for a while, but he was doing stuff with the family, family man Grid here. But we
That's
appreciate
right.
you.
I'm a
coming
busy
back.
guy. Busy guy.
Yeah.
Hey, again, appreciate you having me on. I represent the angry gun-toting, meat-eating fucking people, and as a model example of such, I support Trump doing whatever he needs to do to take care of his life and business and family. So, if that happens to overlap with the office of the president, well, there we have things set in place to make sure that hopefully isn't too out of control. Obviously, that's failed. I mean, we saw what we've seen what has happened in previous administrations and how people go into government and get massively wealthy. And that's pretty impressive, actually. How people go in broke and come out excessively rich and millionaires. So that. But if his kids are selling some merch, that's cool. Again, I have one of his ties. I don't think I've got anything else by him, but maybe I need to look in the department stores and see if there's something else that's worthwhile buying. I doubt it. It's not really my scene, not my style, but that's cool. As always, Prime, it's been cool. I enjoy it. We'll to my chat, since I hope you guys are listening now. I'm going to hang out for a little while and then I'm going to go do some other stuff. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. And the rest of you guys, don't forget Friday night Bloodsport debate, 7 minutes, 7-minute debate, 1v1, round robin, single elimination. It's great. It's great, and you can win some money. So
Bring your own topic, or
no?
How does that go?
We try and pick topics. So we just and there's some things the chat can do that's pretty nasty, like they can force you to take the opposite view, the opposite side.
Steel man.
Yeah. So if you are, well, no, I mean, like if you are pro-life and you're taking the affirmative there, they could do the Uno reverse card, and you would have to argue against that. So you'd have to make an argument against it. It's the format's really simple. You get it's 1v1. Each person gets a 1 minute opening statement. Lay the foundation of position, and then 5 minutes. 3 judges. It's awesome. It works out really well. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it is, and it's blood sport. So you got to move quick and you got to cut. So it's really cool.
We love to see it. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, come on over, Prime. We'd love to have you.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well,
I've actually, for some reason, my show we've always had more leftist than conservative. So it's inverse of what most of the panels in my space end up being.
I think I have a lot of conservatives who watch me.
Well, cool. Send them over. Bring them over.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll leave it there then. So anyone, you've got to leave, head out. I wanted to. I won't do this now because it's late. But there's something I wanted to run by Scott and Lactoid. It's a foreign policy thing. But I'll save it.
Before that, I have a huge announcement that I missed hours ago.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Oh boy.
Javier Milei is going to privatize 9,100 kilometers of roads. If you're not a libertarian, you're not excited. But if you're a libertarian, you're so goddamn
I
excited
get why
right
you're
now.
excited.
The roads are being privatized, boys.
Who is he
It's
selling it to?
happening.
Is he selling it to one organization? or
I
what?
I gotta look into it more. I don't fucking know. Somebody sent me the tweet and I was like, what?
All right, there we go. What's up, ladies, gentlemen that are left? It's been up and down with you guys being on here tonight, but that's cool. Base Street Racer says that A5 is the Icon A5 is the only airplane you could think you could own. I don't like those. They've killed a lot of people. I would suggest a better aircraft. Prime is a shit host and has no idea of time and pace. He rants for an hour before the topic. The Texas question would have been better. Yeah, honestly. It's look, Prime, he tries, you can't take Scott serious. He claims to be this intelligent, no government guy, but cries over there not being a full detailed of names and dates. What a moron! Look, I get where Scott's coming from on this. It's not actually that there's not a full name of list. It's that people lied about having they've actually lied. Bondi, Kash Patel, the entire Obama administration, everybody pretty much just straight lied about having all of this this information, and they never had it. And so, that's pretty bad. So I'm gonna close this Discord and then over here. So that's guys, that is the Reverie. The Reverie sucks, man. It's so bad. It's just, like the thing is that it can be good, but the problem, well, the problem is, in my opinion, they're kind of all lefties. And they are all lefties, and they just aren't really they're not really into letting people actually talk. You can see that every single time that I would start making a point, they would start trying to talk over me, which that's one of the reasons why my mic is so loud. Who's the tosser? I'm not really sure who that is. You'll have to be more specific. Yeah. Don't. Yeah, the Icon. Well, they're coming down in value because nobody wants them. I mean, and the company's in trouble. There's a lot of issues. So as soon as I mentioned how much Trump lost in his first term, they completely wanted to change the subject. Absolutely. You know, they know the stats, right? And then they try to make up some bullshit about how he got it all back, or no, that he lost it because the real estate market cratered. No, that's not how it worked at all. Yeah, that was pretty that was pretty interesting. So that was interesting. I like Gibbs. I like Scott a lot. Scott's like my buddy, man. I like that guy. He and I normally agree. And what's more, he's intellectually honest enough that when I'm making a solid point and the other guys are poo-pooing it or just being a bunch of, or being, when the entire rest of the panel is being a bag of dicks, there's, I can trust that Scott has my back, right? So Scott has my back. It's he's got me. It's fine. I don't think Gibbs was trying to, honestly. You know this at the Jimmy Carter thing. Corey tried to call me out on that, but he didn't follow up on it because he knew I was ready with the I was ready with a hammer, right? But yeah, I don't think Gibbs was trying to carry water. I think what he was trying to do was actually set Prime up. And Gibbs does this a lot. What Gibbs will do is Gibbs will set Prime up, and then Prime will walk right into it, and then Scott will just hammer him. I have no idea what. Look, Corey can't debate anything but like hard science and hard numbers. So he, look, he's just not Catherine, look, I wasn't actually watching too closely. I didn't see you getting timed out. I'm not really sure why that escalated to that. Normally, I have unless you're being a real problem, people only time, they're very minor timeouts just to give you a chance to calm down or whatever. I'm not really sure what happened, so I can't speak to it. But I can look back through it, I guess, at some point. But yeah, I don't really know why Corey debates American politics. I really don't. And he's really bad about it. He's really bad about it. So it's 11 o'clock. I'm going to go to bed. I was going to actually jump over on Sarah's panel and bash some heads in with Andrew, but it looks like they're going to be going for a while. So I really appreciate everybody coming over tonight and hanging out with me and watching the show and watching what's going on with I should welcome Nat. Hi, Nat. How are you? Where is Nat still here? I'll wait. Hopefully Nat comes back to the computer. So I really appreciate everybody hanging out with me tonight. These get tough. It's really tough to grift when I'm on the panel because I can't really talk to chat very effectively. Hi, Nat. How are you? Can you tell us a tiny little bit about yourself? Just, so we know who we're talking to. You don't have to get, you don't have to go very deep. Just, just kind of let us know who we're talking to. And you'll probably fit right in. Everybody here generically is pretty respectful, and we like to have a good time. I'm a constitutional conservative. I did see you ask that earlier. I'm a constitutional conservative. I believe if it's not in the Constitution, then it's a states' right, and the federal government should not be involved with it. And I think that some of the amendments that were passed have actually been detrimental to the society and need to be reversed, and those items put back in states' hands. So that's where I'm at. That's what I do. That's my worldview. That's where I come from. I am a Christian, and again, I represent angry, meat eating, gun toting, fucking people. That's who I represent. So, but I'm really not that angry today. It has actually been a good show. What was interesting was how I would literally say, well, I'm just not sure. And they would like lose their minds over me saying, I'm not sure. Why would I be sure? Right? Like nobody's shown me anything. I don't know that such a list exists. Right? Like this is the thing about the whole Epstein thing. I don't know. I just don't know enough about this thing. Like where's all the video? There have to have been terabytes of video. So, at any rate, guys, I'm going to see if I can find somebody to raid you into. Maybe I'll raid you over to Sarah's. That actually seems like a really great idea. So let me do some stuff here. If somebody has some questions, just pop off, ask. If you have comments or critiques for my, the way I handled the debate, and the first part of it's not even a debate. It was a hit. It was a discussion, thinly disguised. Or pardon me, it was a hit piece thinly disguised as a discussion. And I really was not, I don't really care. You guys know that. I'll go with whatever. But to be honest with you, I was getting tired of that nonsense. They were about on my last daggum nerve. So, Catherine, the only thing that I saw that I thought was a little off, and that I would be very careful about doing in the future, is we, most of the people in this chat are not liberals or leftists or progressives, and so when you say something like, for example, when you say something like, how can a felon be president? Well, if you don't understand it, maybe do a little studying, right? So the plane thing was crazy, like nuts. Because like Trump can't ever own that airplane. It went to it's in government control. Like, and he didn't seem to understand that once Trump's no longer president, he doesn't get to ride on Air Force One anymore. Right? And they don't just give you Air Force One. Like it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So anyway, guys, I'm going to send you over to I'm going to send you over to Glenn Lawrence, actually, and see how he's doing over there. I may pop in there for a couple of minutes. As always, guys, be cool. Wear glasses if you need them. Get off my